Hey friends, welcome or welcome back to the channel. I am so excited you're here because today we're diving deep into the future of a connection. Yeah, like an in-depth love reading to see where things are headed. And remember, this is a safe space, so relax and let's see what the universe has in store for you. Now, this reading is timeless, meaning whenever you're watching this, the message is meant for you. We're going to explore the potential, the challenges, and the overall direction of this connection. It could be a current relationship, a budding romance, or even a connection that's yet to fully blossom. So get ready for some juicy insights. We are going to get right into it. For our piles today, we have 4 gorgeous crystals, each representing a unique pathway. First, we have the Labradorite Sun, all about illuminating the dawn of clarity and shedding light on hidden truths. Next, we have the Carnelian Angel, representing the ember of passion, here to help you rekindle desire and purpose. Then we have the Citrine raw crystal, grounding, which is all about building a solid foundation of growth, stability, and trust. And finally, we have the Aventurine moon, flowing with the whispers of the heart, helping you navigate those emotional tides. So take a deep breath, close your eyes for a moment, and just feel which crystal you're most drawn to. No pressure at all, trust your intuition. You can even check out multiple piles if you feel called. Now, go ahead and pause the video and choose the pile that resonates with you the most. And while you're deciding, set the intention to receive the guidance that's meant for you. Okay, ready? Let's get started. Okay, hello there. Welcome to your reading, especially if you chose the Labradorite Sun. This crystal is all about illumination, like it's a stone that helps you see things clearly, especially things that might be hidden. And that ties in perfectly with our theme today, Dawn of Clarity, shedding light on hidden truths. Basically, we're looking at what's coming into focus for you right now, what's becoming clear. So let's see what the cards have to say, okay? All right, so the first card we have here is the Ten of Wands. Oof, okay, that feels heavy. Like, literally, this card is about carrying a lot of weight, feeling burdened, overwhelmed, and just, like you're struggling to keep it all together. Okay, so immediately I'm wondering, is this something you're feeling? Or is this something both you and the other person in this connection are experiencing? Because, like, sometimes the Ten of Wands can represent one person carrying the entire load, feeling responsible for everything. And that can create a real imbalance in a relationship, right? Or maybe you're both feeling this way, just under the weight of different things, and it's creating tension because neither of you has the energy to really support the other. You know, think about it. What are the wands in this situation? Are they work responsibilities, family obligations? Maybe it's emotional baggage from the past. It could even be like the weight of expectations, either from yourselves or from society, about what this connection should be. Like, maybe you feel pressured to be the perfect couple or the perfect friends, and that pressure is just crushing you both. It's like you are each dealing with your own stuff, then trying to uphold the relationship and each other, so it feels like you both are carrying 11 wands. And you know what else is interesting? The Ten of Wands often comes up when we're afraid to ask for help. Like, we get so caught up in trying to do it all ourselves that we forget that it's okay to lean on others, that it's okay to say, hey, I'm struggling here. So maybe, just maybe, part of the lesson with this card is learning to release some of that control, to trust that the other person is willing to support you, but you have to actually let them. Otherwise, you're just going to keep struggling under this immense pressure. Like, are you trying to be superhuman right now? Because let me tell you something, it's not sustainable. Or, on the flip side, maybe they're the ones who are feeling overwhelmed and you're not fully seeing it. Maybe they're putting on a brave face, trying to handle everything on their own, and you're not realizing the extent of their burden. In that case, the message might be to pay closer attention, to be more observant, and to offer your support in a way that feels genuinely helpful and not, condescending or like you're taking over. Because nobody wants to feel like they're being rescued, right? They just want to feel seen and supported. And going back to the Labradorite Sun, our crystal, what hidden truths are being illuminated about these burdens? Is it that you've been avoiding dealing with something for a long time and it's finally catching up to you? Is it that you've been taking on responsibilities that aren't actually yours to carry? Or is it that you've been downplaying a need of your own for too long? The crystal wants you to see this situation clearly, to understand the root of the burden, so you can start to release it. It's like, okay, the Labradorite Sun crystal is saying, time to stop pretending you're okay when you're not. Time to be honest with yourself and with each other about what you're really going through. Because once you do that, you can start to find solutions, to lighten the load, and to move forward in a more balanced and sustainable way. You know, another thing that just popped into my head is maybe the wands represent different aspects of your own personality, different roles you play in your life. Like, maybe you're trying to be the perfect partner, the perfect friend, the perfect employee, the perfect family member, and you're spreading yourself too thin. So you're feeling exhausted, depleted, and disconnected from your own core self. If that resonates, the invitation is to simplify, to prioritize, and to focus on what truly matters to you, what nourishes your soul, instead of trying to please everyone else. It's about reclaiming your energy and investing it in the things that bring you joy and fulfillment. Also, sometimes the Ten of Wands can indicate that you're nearing the end of a cycle, that you're about to complete a major project or overcome a significant challenge. So, even though it feels heavy right now, it could be a sign that you're almost there, that you're just one step away from releasing this burden and moving on to something lighter and brighter. But you have to be willing to let go, to surrender the need to control everything, and to trust that the universe has your back. So, yeah, the Ten of Wands is definitely a card about feeling overwhelmed, but it's also a card about resilience, about strength, and about the potential for transformation. It's about learning to carry your burdens with grace and to ask for help when you need it. And with the Labradorite Sun shining its light on the situation, you have the opportunity to see things clearly, to understand the root of the problem, and to find a path forward that is more aligned with your authentic self. Like, this could be a really powerful turning point for you, if you're willing to embrace the lessons that this card has to offer, right? Okay, but it's not all doom and gloom, because the next card we have is the Two of Cups. Okay, so we're going from feeling totally weighed down to this beautiful image of connection and partnership. This is like a breath of fresh air after all that heavy lifting, but it's also important to remember that you can't just skip over the Ten of Wands. You have to address those burdens, you have to release some of that weight in order to truly embrace the potential of the Two of Cups, you know. Because the Two of Cups is all about harmony, balance, and mutual respect. It's about finding someone who sees you for who you truly are and accepts you, flaws and all. It's about creating a connection that is based on equality and reciprocity, where both of you are giving and receiving in equal measure. Okay, so this could definitely be a romantic connection. I mean, that's often what people think of when they see the Two of Cups, right? But it could also be a really close friendship, a strong business partnership, or even a deep connection with a family member. The key is that there's this sense of understanding, of being on the same wavelength, of feeling like you can truly be yourself without fear of judgment. And what I love about the Two of Cups is that it's not just about feeling good, it's also about creating something together. It's about combining your strengths and talents to achieve a common goal. It's about building something that is bigger and better than either of you could have created on your own. So if this is a romantic connection, maybe it's about building a life together, creating a family, or pursuing shared dreams. If it's a business partnership, maybe it's about launching a successful company, developing a new product, or making a positive impact on the world. Whatever it is, there's this sense of shared purpose, of being united in a common vision. And this is a big, but going back to our Labradorite Sun, what specific truths need to be illuminated for this connection to truly flourish? Because remember, the Ten of Wands was all about feeling overwhelmed and burdened. So if you haven't addressed those issues, they're going to cast a shadow on this Two of Cups energy. Like maybe you're entering this connection with a lot of baggage from the past, unresolved issues that are going to sabotage your ability to fully open up and connect with the other person. Or maybe there are imbalances in the relationship, where one person is giving more than the other, and that's going to create resentment and ultimately lead to a breakdown. So, the Labradorite Sun is urging you to be honest with yourself and with the other person about what you're really feeling, about what you need, and about what you're willing to give. It's about having those difficult conversations, about setting healthy boundaries, and about being willing to compromise. Because the Two of Cups isn't just about instant chemistry, it's about building a solid foundation based on trust, communication, and mutual respect. It's about doing the work to create a connection that can withstand the test of time. You know, I'm also wondering if there's a need for more vulnerability in this connection. Like, are you both holding back, afraid to show your true selves, afraid of getting hurt? Because the Two of Cups requires a willingness to be open and honest, to share your fears and insecurities, and to trust that the other person will accept you unconditionally. It's about creating a safe space where you can both be yourselves without judgment. So if you're feeling hesitant or guarded, the invitation is to take a leap of faith, to let down your walls, and to allow yourself to be truly seen. And remember that the Two of Cups is a reflection. It mirrors what you put into it. If you invest love, effort, and understanding, that's what you'll get back. But if you're coming from a place of fear, insecurity, or neediness, that's what you're going to attract. So, it's really important to check in with yourself and make sure that you're approaching this connection with the right intentions. Are you looking for someone to complete you, to fill a void in your life? Or are you coming from a place of wholeness, offering your love and support freely, without expecting anything in return? Because the Two of Cups thrives on mutual respect and equality, not on neediness or dependence. You know, it's gotta be an equal playing field. Okay, so the Two of Cups is definitely a beautiful and promising card, but it's important to approach it with awareness and intention. You have to address the burdens of the Ten of Wands, you have to be honest about your needs and expectations, and you have to be willing to be vulnerable. And with the Labradorite Sun shining its light on the situation, you have the opportunity to create a connection that is truly fulfilling and sustainable. This is definitely a card about potential, about the possibility of finding a soulmate, a kindred spirit, someone who just gets you. But hold on, because there's one more card we need to look at, and this one is... well, it's a little bit more complicated. We have the Moon. Okay, so after the hope and harmony of the Two of Cups, we get the Moon. This is where things get interesting, and maybe a little bit murky, because the Moon is all about illusions, hidden fears, and the subconscious. Like, what's lurking beneath the surface that you're not fully aware of? This could be anxieties, repressed emotions, or even just a general sense of uncertainty about the future of this connection. The Moon often represents things that are hidden from us, things that we're not consciously aware of. It's like there's a fog obscuring our vision, making it difficult to see things clearly. So, it could be that there are aspects of this connection that you're not fully understanding, or that there are hidden dynamics at play that are influencing your feelings and behaviors. Maybe there are secrets being kept, or maybe there are just unspoken truths that are creating a sense of unease. And what's really important to remember with the Moon is that it's not necessarily a bad card. It's not like it's predicting doom and gloom. It's more like a warning, a heads up that there are things you need to be aware of, that there are potential pitfalls to avoid. It's an invitation to delve deeper, to explore your subconscious, and to bring those hidden aspects into the light. And that's where our Labradorite Sun crystal comes in, right? Because this crystal is perfect for navigating the murky waters of the Moon. It's all about illuminating those hidden truths, about bringing clarity to confusion, and about helping you to trust your intuition. So, with the Moon in the mix, it's essential to ask yourself, what am I afraid of? What am I avoiding? What am I not seeing clearly? Are there past traumas or experiences that are influencing my current perceptions? Is there a fear of vulnerability that's preventing me from fully opening up to this connection? The Moon can also indicate that you're being overly influenced by your emotions, that you're letting your fears and anxieties cloud your judgment. So, it's important to take a step back, to gain some perspective, and to try to see things from a more objective point of view. Maybe there's a fear of repeating past patterns. Like maybe you've been hurt in previous relationships and you're afraid of getting hurt again. So you're subconsciously creating distance, sabotaging the connection, or projecting your past experiences onto the other person. Or maybe there's a fear of commitment, a fear of losing your independence, or a fear of getting too close. The moon can bring all of these hidden fears to the surface, so you can confront them and release them. And remember, the moon is also about intuition. It's about trusting your gut feeling, even when things don't make sense logically. So if you're getting a sense that something is off, that there's something you're not seeing, it's important to pay attention to that feeling. Don't dismiss it or try to rationalize it away. Instead, explore it, ask questions, and trust that your intuition is guiding you in the right direction. Like, what specific clarity needs to be brought to the surface? What hidden truths are being revealed? Is it that you're not being honest with yourself about your feelings? Is it that you're idealizing the other person, seeing them as perfect when they're not? Or is it that you're ignoring red flags, signs that this connection might not be as healthy or sustainable as you think? The Labradorite Sun is here to help you see things as they truly are, to pierce through the illusions, and to trust your own inner wisdom. Okay, wow, the High Priestess, huh? So after the moon, which is already like super intuitive and mysterious, we get the High Priestess. This is like next level intuition. This is about tapping into your inner knowing, your subconscious wisdom, the stuff that's beyond logic and reason. The High Priestess is all about listening to that still, small voice inside of you, that gut feeling that just knows what's right, you know. So immediately, I'm thinking about how this connects to the moon. The moon was about those hidden fears and illusions, the things that are lurking beneath the surface. And the High Priestess is like, she's the one who can help you navigate that darkness. She's the one who can shine a light on those hidden things and help you understand what they really mean. And remember, we have our Labradorite Sun, so we are being guided to clarity, okay? Like, the moon can be kind of scary, right? Because it's about the unknown, the things that we can't see or control. But the High Priestess is like, don't be afraid, trust your intuition. You have all the answers you need inside of you. She's like a guide, a mentor, a wise woman who's there to help you connect with your own inner wisdom, you know. And going back to the Ten of Wands and the Two of Cups, I'm wondering if the High Priestess is showing you that the key to releasing those burdens and fully embracing that connection lies within you. Like maybe you've been looking outside yourself for answers, for validation, for someone to fix your problems, but the High Priestess is saying, no, honey, you have the power to heal yourself, to create the life you want. You just need to tap into your own inner strength and wisdom. So like, what does that actually look like in practice? Well, maybe it means taking some time for yourself, to meditate, to journal, to just be still and listen to your own thoughts and feelings. Maybe it means paying attention to your dreams, because the High Priestess often communicates through dreams, you know. They can be full of symbols and messages that can help you understand what's going on in your subconscious. Or maybe it means seeking out a spiritual mentor, a therapist, or someone who can help you connect with your intuition and your inner wisdom. Someone who can help you see things from a different perspective and guide you on your path, you know. And I think it's really important to trust your intuition when it comes to this connection, especially in light of the moon. Like if you're getting a feeling that something's not quite right, don't ignore it. Don't try to rationalize it away. Listen to that inner voice, even if it doesn't make sense logically, you know. Because your intuition is always trying to guide you, to protect you, and to lead you towards what's best for you. The High Priestess can also represent secrets, things that are hidden from you or that you're hiding from yourself. So, it could be that there are certain aspects of this connection that you're not fully aware of, or that you're not being completely honest with yourself about. Maybe there are red flags that you're ignoring, or maybe there are unresolved issues from the past that are affecting your present, you know. If that resonates, the High Priestess is inviting you to bring those secrets to light, to confront those hidden truths, and to be honest with yourself and with the other person about what's really going on. Because you can't build a strong, healthy connection on a foundation of lies or secrets, right? It has to be based on honesty, trust, and vulnerability. And I'm also wondering if the High Priestess is highlighting the importance of boundaries in this connection. Like, are you setting healthy boundaries? Are you respecting the other person's boundaries? Are you allowing yourself to be taken advantage of? Or are you standing up for yourself and your needs, Because the High Priestess is all about self-respect, self-love, and self-worth. She knows that you deserve to be treated with kindness, compassion, and respect, and she's not afraid to stand up for herself and for what she believes in. So, if you're feeling like your boundaries are being crossed, or that you're not being treated the way you deserve to be treated, the High Priestess is urging you to speak up, to assert yourself, and to reclaim your power. And it's so interesting, because with the Labradorite Sun, it's like all of this hidden stuff is coming to the surface whether you like it or not. It's like the universe is saying, okay, time to deal with this. Time to face your fears, confront your demons, and step into your power. And the High Priestess is there to guide you through that process, to help you navigate the darkness and emerge stronger, wiser, and more empowered than ever before. Also, thinking about the Two of Cups, maybe the High Priestess is showing you that the key to a successful partnership is to first and foremost have a strong relationship with yourself. Like, you can't expect someone else to complete you or to make you happy. You have to be whole and complete within yourself first, Because when you come from a place of wholeness, you're able to offer love and support freely, without expecting anything in return. You're able to set healthy boundaries and communicate your needs effectively. And you're able to create a connection that is based on mutual respect, equality, and genuine affection. And I think, this is such a big part of the lesson that you're working through, based on these cards, especially considering that Ten of Wands energy. It feels like you've almost lost yourself in the shuffle of life, and now the High Priestess is here to guide you back to you. So, the High Priestess is definitely a powerful card about intuition, inner wisdom, and self-trust. But it's also a card about mystery, secrets, and the unknown. It's about delving deeper into your subconscious, confronting your fears, and embracing your power. And with the Labradorite Sun shining its light on the situation, you have the opportunity to see things clearly, to understand the root of the problem, and to find a path forward that is more aligned with your authentic self. It's like the High Priestess is saying, trust yourself. You have all the answers you need within you. Just listen to your intuition and follow your inner guidance. Now, I'm really curious to see what the next card is, because it feels like the High Priestess is giving you all this information, all these insights, but what are you actually going to do with them? Are you going to take action? Are you going to make a decision? Are you going to step into your power and create the life you want? Or are you going to stay stuck in the same old patterns? The next card is going to give us some clues, so let's pull that one, okay. Okay, wow. So after all that, intuitive stuff and inner wisdom we have. The Devil, okay. That's interesting. And okay, don't freak out, right? It's not like the Devil is necessarily a bad card, but it definitely brings some, heavy energy into the mix, This is a card about feeling trapped, about being bound by something, about unhealthy attachments. Okay, so immediately, my mind is going back to the Ten of Wands, right? All those burdens, all that weight you're carrying. And then the Moon, with all those hidden fears and anxieties. And then the High Priestess telling us to trust ourselves, to trust our intuition. And it feels like the Devil is saying, okay, but what if you're ignoring all those warnings? What if you're letting those burdens and fears control you? The Devil is all about being stuck in unhealthy patterns, about feeling like you can't break free from something, whether it's a person, a situation, or even just a way of thinking. And I think the biggest thing with the Devil is it's about choice, okay? It's about recognizing that you do have the power to break free, but you're choosing not to, for whatever reason. Maybe you're afraid of the unknown, maybe you're comfortable in your misery, Or maybe you just don't believe that you deserve something better, And, it's interesting, because it's still building on what the Labradorite Sun is showing us. It's just maybe like the darker side. We're seeing what happens if you don't heed the warnings. Like, it's not just about seeing the truth, it's about doing something with it. So, how does this play out in this connection? Well, maybe it means that you're staying in this connection even though you know it's not good for you, even though it's draining you, even though it's making you unhappy. Maybe you're clinging to it out of fear of being alone, or out of a sense of obligation, or out of a misguided belief that you can fix the other person, remember the Two of Cups, that potential for harmony and balance. The devil is like the shadow side of that, the potential for codependency and unhealthy attachment. It's like, instead of creating a connection based on mutual respect and equality, you're creating a connection based on neediness and control. And that can be really, really toxic. And, the devil can also represent addiction. So maybe there's something about this connection that you're addicted to, whether it's the drama, the intensity, or even just the feeling of being needed, Sometimes we get addicted to the chaos in our lives because it distracts us from our own pain and our own issues. And so the devil can show up when you're using this person or this relationship to distract yourself from the things you need to focus on. Okay. So, are you sacrificing your own well-being for this connection? Are you ignoring your own needs and desires in order to please the other person? Are you making excuses for their behavior? Are you enabling their bad habits? If so, that's a big red flag, and it's a sign that you need to start setting some boundaries, okay? And the devil can also be about, feeling powerless. Feeling like you don't have any control over your own life, like you're just a puppet being controlled by someone else's strings. And that can be a really disempowering feeling, but it's important to remember that you always have a choice. You always have the power to take back control of your own life, even if it doesn't feel like it, The choice might be scary, but it's still there. And going back to the moon, the devil can also be about illusions, about seeing things that aren't really there. Maybe you're idealizing this person, seeing them as someone they're not. Maybe you're ignoring their flaws, or making excuses for their behavior, or clinging to a fantasy of what this connection could be, instead of seeing it for what it really is. And that can be a really dangerous trap, because it prevents you from making clear, rational decisions about what's best for you, You're seeing what you want to see instead of what is. Are you wearing rose-colored glasses when it comes to this connection? Are you ignoring red flags? Are you making excuses for the other person's behavior? Are you clinging to a fantasy of what this connection could be, instead of seeing it for what it really is? If so, that's a sign that you need to take off those glasses and start seeing things as they truly are, even if it's painful, And that's where the Labradorite Sun comes in again, right? Because this crystal is all about illuminating those hidden truths, about bringing clarity to confusion, and about helping you to see things as they truly are, without all the illusions and distortions. So, how can you use the Labradorite Sun to break free from the chains of the devil? Well, maybe it means taking some time for yourself, to reflect on what's really going on in this connection. Maybe it means journaling, meditating, or talking to a trusted friend or therapist. Maybe it means seeking out some spiritual guidance or doing some shadow work to explore those darker aspects of your personality that are contributing to this unhealthy dynamic, And it all goes back to the High Priestess, too. That inner wisdom, that intuition. The devil can be about ignoring your intuition, about letting your fears and desires override your gut feeling. So, how can you reconnect with your intuition and start making choices that are aligned with your highest good? Well, maybe it means practicing some self-care, taking some time to nurture yourself, and listening to your own needs and desires. Maybe it means setting some boundaries and learning to say no to things that don't feel good to you. Or maybe it just means trusting yourself, believing in yourself, and knowing that you deserve something better than this, Because you do. You absolutely do. What specific clarity needs to be brought to the surface in order to break free from these chains? What unhealthy patterns are you clinging to? What fears are holding you back? What illusions are you buying into? The Labradorite Sun is here to help you see the truth, to reclaim your power, and to create a connection that is based on love, respect, and freedom, not on fear, control, and addiction. It's about seeing the chains, acknowledging them, and then actively choosing to unlock them. And you know, it's interesting because the devil can also be a test. Like the universe is testing you to see how much you're willing to tolerate, to see if you're finally ready to stand up for yourself and claim your own power, you know. So, if you're seeing the devil in this reading, it's a sign that you're being called to make a change, to break free from something that's holding you back, and to step into your own authentic self. It might be scary, it might be uncomfortable, but it's absolutely necessary if you want to create a life that is truly fulfilling and meaningful. Okay. So, some questions to ask yourself are, what am I afraid of losing if I break free from this connection? What am I getting out of this connection, even though it's unhealthy? What am I willing to tolerate in order to avoid being alone? What am I willing to sacrifice in order to maintain this illusion of control? Be honest with yourself, even if it's painful, because that's the only way you're going to break free from these chains and create a life that is truly aligned with your soul's purpose, you know. Okay, so the devil is definitely a challenging card, but it's also a card of opportunity. It's an opportunity to break free from unhealthy patterns, to reclaim your power, and to create a life that is based on love, respect, and freedom. And with the Labradorite Sun shining its light on the situation, you have the opportunity to see things clearly, to understand the root of the problem, and to find a path forward that is more aligned with your authentic self. So, will you choose freedom, or will you choose to remain in chains? What are you going to do with this information? Because we have one more card to pull, and that card is going to show us the ultimate outcome, you know. Is it liberation or further entanglement? Okay, let's see. Okay, so after all that heavy stuff, after the devil, we get the Page of Wands, huh? Okay, well that's interesting, right? I mean, it's definitely lighter energy than the devil, but it's not necessarily a clear answer, you know. Like the Page of Wands is all about new beginnings, about inspiration, about excitement and enthusiasm, but it's also about, inexperience and maybe a little bit of impulsiveness, you know. So, immediately, I'm wondering, is this a sign that you're about to embark on a new adventure? Are you finally breaking free from those chains of the devil and stepping into something new and exciting? Or is it a warning that you're about to jump into something without really thinking it through? You know, because you're so excited to be free that you're not really looking at the fine print, maybe. And, you know, thinking back to the Ten of Wands, maybe this Page of Wands energy is about finally putting down all those burdens and feeling like you can breathe again, you know. You've been carrying so much weight for so long, and now you're finally ready to just, run free and explore all the possibilities that are out there. But then I'm also thinking about the Two of Cups, and is this Page of Wands energy going to help you create that harmonious connection, or is it going to lead you away from it? You know, is this new beginning going to involve the other person, or is it going to be something that you do on your own? And then, with the moon, it's are you seeing this new beginning clearly? Or are you still under the influence of those illusions and hidden fears? Are you being honest with yourself about what you really want? Or are you just chasing after something that looks shiny and new, you know? And what about the High Priestess? Are you listening to your intuition as you embark on this new adventure? Or are you letting your excitement and impulsiveness cloud your judgment? Are you trusting your inner wisdom to guide you in the right direction? Or are you just following your desires without really thinking about the consequences? You know, and of course, we have to go back to the devil, because that's the big question here, right? Are you truly breaking free from those chains, or are you just finding a new way to be trapped? Are you learning from your past mistakes, or are you repeating the same patterns in a different disguise? And that Labradorite Sun, is it really showing you the truth, or are you only seeing what you want to see? So, okay, let's think about some of the positive possibilities here, right? Maybe this Page of Wands energy is about finally recognizing your own worth and value. and deciding that you deserve something better than what you've been settling for. Maybe it's about setting some healthy boundaries and saying no to things that don't feel good to you, even if it's scary or uncomfortable. Maybe it's about taking a leap of faith and pursuing your dreams, even if you don't know exactly where they're going to lead you. Maybe you're finally realizing that you don't have to stay stuck in this unhealthy connection, that you have the power to create a life that is filled with joy, passion, and fulfillment. And maybe this Page of Wands energy is about finding your voice and speaking your truth, even if it means rocking the boat or challenging the status quo. Maybe it's about standing up for what you believe in and refusing to compromise your values. Maybe it's about embracing your individuality and celebrating your unique gifts and talents, even if they're not always appreciated by others. Maybe you're finally giving yourself permission to be yourself, unapologetically and authentically, without worrying about what other people think. And maybe this new beginning is about finding a new passion, a new hobby, or a new creative outlet that brings you joy and excitement. Maybe it's about rediscovering your childlike wonder and enthusiasm, and letting yourself be inspired by the beauty and magic of the world around you. Maybe it's about connecting with your inner child and giving yourself permission to play, to explore, and to have fun without feeling guilty or selfish. Maybe you're finally remembering what it feels like to be alive, to be truly present in the moment, and to appreciate all the little things that make life worth living. And maybe, just maybe, this Page of Wands energy is about attracting a new, healthy connection into your life. Someone who appreciates you for who you truly are. Someone who supports your dreams and inspires you to be your best self. And someone who brings joy, laughter, and excitement into your world. Someone who is also embodying that Page of Wands energy. But we also have to consider the potential negative outcomes here, right? Maybe this Page of Wands energy is about impulsively running away from your problems without really addressing them. Maybe you're just looking for a quick fix, a temporary escape from the pain and discomfort, without really doing the work to heal and transform your patterns. Maybe you're jumping into something new without really thinking it through, and then you end up making the same mistakes all over again. Maybe you're so desperate to be free from the devil that you're not really paying attention to the red flags, and you end up getting involved with someone who is just as unhealthy or even more unhealthy than the person you were with before. And maybe this Page of Wands energy is about being easily distracted and losing focus on your goals. Maybe you're starting a bunch of new projects but not finishing any of them, and then you end up feeling scattered, overwhelmed, and unfulfilled. Maybe you're letting your enthusiasm wane too quickly, and then you give up on things before you even have a chance to see them through. Maybe you're just chasing after the next shiny object, without really committing to anything or anyone, and then you end up feeling lost, directionless, and alone. Or maybe this Page of Wands energy is about being too naive and trusting, and then you end up getting taken advantage of by someone who doesn't have your best interests at heart. Maybe you're letting your guard down too quickly, and then you end up getting hurt or disappointed. Maybe you're not setting clear boundaries, and then you end up getting your energy drained by someone who is needy or demanding. Maybe you're just being too trusting and open, without really assessing the situation or the people involved, and then you end up getting burned. So ultimately, the Page of Wands is about choice, right? It's about choosing whether to use that new energy wisely or to let it lead you astray. It's about choosing whether to learn from your past mistakes or to repeat them. It's about choosing whether to trust your intuition or to ignore it. It's about choosing whether to break free from those chains of the devil or to remain trapped, The power is in your hands. You have the ability to create a new beginning that is aligned with your highest good, but you also have the ability to sabotage yourself and end up in an even worse situation than you were in before. So, which path are you going to choose? And remember the Labradorite Sun, because that clarity is key here, okay? You have to see things as they really are in order to make the right choice and to make sure you're actually moving forward. And, the Page of Wands is really about taking that leap of faith, about embracing the unknown, and about trusting that the universe has your back. But it's also about being mindful, being aware, and being responsible for your own choices. It's about recognizing that you have the power to create your own reality, and that you're not just a victim of circumstance. You know, you are the creator of your own destiny, and the Page of Wands is giving you the opportunity to step into that power and create a life that is truly amazing. But you have to be willing to do the work, to face your fears, and to trust yourself every step of the way. So, are you going to embrace that opportunity, or are you going to let it slip away? What specific truths need to be illuminated in order to make the right choice? What fears are holding you back from taking that leap of faith? What illusions are you clinging to that are preventing you from seeing things clearly? The Labradorite Sun is here to help you answer those questions, to guide you on your path, and to empower you to create a life that is filled with love, joy, and fulfillment. But the choice is ultimately yours, you know. Are you going to choose freedom, or are you going to choose to remain in chains? Are you going to step into your power, or are you going to stay stuck in the same old patterns? Okay, so we're at the very last card. I'm so curious and excited to see what the ultimate outcome is going to be like. Is it liberation or further entanglement? Let's pull the final card and find out, okay? Okay, so Nine of Wands. Right after the Devil and that Page of Wands energy. It's like you've been through the ringer, you know? Like this card isn't like a happy-go-lucky card. There's a sense of you're standing your ground, but you're also a little beat up, you know? You've been through some battles. You're still standing, but you're definitely watching your back. So the immediate feeling I'm getting is resilience, but also a little bit of exhaustion, you know? Are you really strong right now, or are you just running on fumes? Have you actually healed from those wounds, or are you just covering them up with band-aids? Because sometimes the Nine of Wands can be a sign that you're pushing yourself too hard, that you're not really allowing yourself to rest and recover, you know. You're so focused on staying strong, on protecting yourself, that you're not actually giving yourself the space to heal. And that can be a really dangerous place to be, because eventually you're going to burn out, you're going to break down, and then you're going to be even worse off than you were before, you know. So are you taking care of yourself? Are you getting enough sleep? Are you eating healthy? Are you exercising? Are you spending time with people who support you and lift you up? Or are you just isolating yourself, trying to do everything on your own and pushing yourself to the limit? Because, if you're not taking care of yourself, you're not going to be able to sustain this level of resilience for very long, okay? And going a little deeper, I'm also getting a sense of guardedness, you know. You've been hurt in the past, and now you're afraid of getting hurt again. So you're putting up walls, you're keeping people at a distance, and you're not really allowing yourself to be vulnerable, you know. And I get it, right? It's natural to want to protect yourself, especially after you've been through a difficult experience. But if you're too guarded, you're going to end up pushing people away, even the people who care about you and want to support you, you know. You're going to create a self-fulfilling prophecy where you're so afraid of getting hurt that you end up isolating yourself and missing out on opportunities for connection and love, you know. So, are you being too guarded in this connection? Are you afraid to show your true self? Are you afraid to be vulnerable? Are you afraid to trust the other person? Because, if you're not willing to take a risk and open yourself up, you're never going to be able to experience the full potential of that Two of Cups energy, you know. You're going to stay stuck in this cycle of fear and protection, and you're never going to truly connect with anyone, okay? And then, another thing I'm seeing is this sense of you're almost there, you know. You've overcome so many obstacles, you've made so much progress, and you're just one step away from reaching your goal. But that last step can be the hardest, right? Because it requires you to push through your fear, to overcome your doubts, and to trust that you're on the right path, even when things are uncertain, you know. And sometimes the Nine of Wands can be a test, a final challenge to see if you're really ready to move on to the next level, you know. The universe is throwing one last obstacle in your path to see if you have what it takes to overcome it. So, are you ready to face that final challenge? Are you willing to push through your discomfort and uncertainty? Are you willing to trust that you're strong enough to handle whatever comes your way? Because, if you can do that, you're going to unlock a whole new level of growth and fulfillment, You're going to prove to yourself that you can handle anything, and you're going to step into your power in a whole new way, okay? But what if you're just tired? What if you don't have any strength left? Is this pushing you to grow, or is this just unnecessary stress at this point? It's such a fine line, and I think that's what makes this card so complicated after everything you've already been through. Okay, and digging even deeper, I'm also sensing that this card is really connected to your past, Like those past wounds, those past experiences, they're still influencing you, they're still shaping your perspective, and they're still holding you back in some ways, Like, maybe you had a really bad relationship in the past, and now you're projecting those experiences onto this new connection. Maybe you're afraid of getting hurt again, so you're creating distance and sabotaging the connection before it even has a chance to develop. Or maybe you're just clinging to old beliefs and patterns that are no longer serving you, Like, maybe you believe that you're not worthy of love, or that you're always going to get hurt, or that you can't trust anyone. And those beliefs are creating a self-fulfilling prophecy where you're attracting the same negative experiences over and over again, It's like you're wearing these lenses that are colored by your past, and you're seeing everything through that filter, instead of seeing things as they truly are. So, how are your past experiences influencing your current situation? What old wounds are you still carrying? What limiting beliefs are you clinging to? And how can you release those burdens and start seeing things with fresh eyes, Because, if you don't address those past wounds, they're going to continue to haunt you and prevent you from moving forward, okay? Are you seeing this new person for who they are, or for who someone else was, It's so easy to fall into that trap. And then, I'm thinking about how this connects back to the devil, right? Have you really broken free from those chains, or are you just carrying them with you in a different way? Are you still clinging to those old patterns, those unhealthy attachments, those limiting beliefs? Or have you truly liberated yourself and stepped into your own power? And if you're still carrying those chains, the Nine of Wands is a reminder that you have the strength to break them, You've already overcome so much. You've already proven your resilience, and you have the power to create a different future for yourself. But you have to be willing to let go of the past, to forgive yourself and others, and to trust that you deserve something better, okay? And what about the moon? Are you still operating under the influence of those hidden fears and illusions, or are you seeing things clearly and making conscious choices that are aligned with your highest good? And are you listening to that high priestess, to your intuition, to that inner voice that knows what's best for you? Or are you letting fear and doubt guide your decisions? And then, going back to the Two of Cups, is this guardedness helping or hurting? It's a real question, because sometimes you do need to protect yourself. So, how can you use the Labradorite Sun, that illuminating energy, to navigate this Nine of Wands energy? Well, the first thing is to really get honest with yourself about how you're feeling, Are you truly strong and resilient, or are you just exhausted and running on fumes? Are you truly open to connection, or are you just putting up walls to protect yourself? Are you truly ready to move forward, or are you still clinging to the past? And once you get honest with yourself about how you're feeling, you can start to identify the specific truths that need to be illuminated, What are those hidden fears that are holding you back? What are those limiting beliefs that are preventing you from seeing your own worth? What are those past wounds that are still influencing your present? And once you identify those truths, you can start to use the Labradorite Sun to shine a light on them, to understand them, and to release them, You can use meditation, journaling, therapy, or any other tool that helps you connect with your inner wisdom and heal those past wounds. And you can start to replace those limiting beliefs with empowering beliefs that support your growth and fulfillment, It's about actively choosing to see the world in a different way, a more positive way, a more hopeful way. And it's about trusting that you have the power to create a different future for yourself, a future that is filled with love, joy, and abundance, okay? Like, what specific clarity needs to be brought to this situation in order for you to move forward with confidence and trust? What hidden strengths do you need to recognize within yourself? What past successes do you need to remember in order to fuel your current resilience? The Labradorite Sun is here to help you find those answers, to empower you to heal, and to guide you towards a brighter future, okay? Wow, okay, so, this is a lot to think about, right? So we have to see what's next. The Nine of Wands is such a crossroads because it could go either way, you know. Are you going to use this experience to grow stronger and more resilient, or are you going to let it hold you back and prevent you from moving forward? It all depends on what that next card is, you know. Is it going to be a card of triumph, a card of healing, a card of love? Or is it going to be a card of relapse, a card of fear, a card of isolation? Oh, I am so curious to see what's coming. Okay, let's pull the last card and see what the ultimate outcome is, okay? Okay, so after all of that, after the Ten of Wands, Two of Cups, the Moon, the High Priestess, the Devil, Page of Wands, and Nine of Wands, we finally arrive at the Sun. Oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. This is like the perfect card to end on, especially after everything we've been through, you know? It's like the universe is giving you a big hug and saying, you did it. You made it through the darkness, and now it's time to bask in the light. It really feels like a reward after that Nine of Wands energy, you know? So, first of all, I just want to acknowledge how far you've come, because, seriously, you've been through the ringer, right? You've carried heavy burdens, you've faced your fears, you've battled your demons, and you've emerged stronger and more resilient than ever before. You know, that Nine of Wands energy, it's not easy, it takes a lot of strength and courage to keep standing your ground when you're feeling exhausted and beat up. So, give yourself a pat on the back, because you deserve it. You've earned this moment of sunshine, you know? And even if you're still feeling a little guarded, a little uncertain, a little exhausted, that's okay. It's perfectly normal to feel that way after everything you've been through. The important thing is that you didn't give up, you didn't lose hope, and you kept moving forward, even when it was hard. And that's something to be really proud of, you know? It really is. It's like the universe was testing you to see how strong you really are, to see if you were willing to keep fighting for your happiness and your fulfillment, even when things got tough. And you passed the test with flying colors. You proved that you're a warrior, that you're a survivor, and that you have the power to overcome anything that comes your way. So, celebrate that. Celebrate your strength, celebrate your resilience, and celebrate your unwavering spirit, you know? You deserve all the good things that are coming your way because you've worked hard for them and you've earned them. Seriously, it's like that Labradorite Sun crystal was with you the whole time, guiding you through the darkness, illuminating your path, and reminding you of your own inner strength and wisdom, you know. It was there to help you see the truth, to break free from those chains of the devil, and to step into your own authentic self. And now, with the Sun card shining down on you, it's like that crystal is amplifying its energy, showering you with warmth, light, and joy, you know. So what does the Sun actually mean for you in this situation? Well, first of all, it means happiness, joy, and abundance. This is a card of pure, unadulterated bliss, you know. It's about feeling good, feeling loved, and feeling grateful for all the blessings in your life. It's about waking up every morning with a smile on your face and a song in your heart, knowing that you're exactly where you're supposed to be and that everything is working out for your highest good, you know. The Sun is like that feeling of pure joy when you're a kid, running around without a care in the world, just completely present in the moment and filled with wonder and excitement. It's about reconnecting with that inner child, that innocent and playful part of yourself that just wants to have fun and enjoy life to the fullest, you know. So give yourself permission to be happy. Give yourself permission to laugh, to play, to dance, to sing, to do whatever brings you joy and makes you feel alive. Because you deserve it. You deserve to experience the full spectrum of human emotions, including the good ones, you know. And the Sun also represents success, achievement, and recognition. All your hard work is finally paying off, and you're getting the recognition and rewards that you deserve, you know. Maybe you're getting a promotion at work, maybe you're launching a successful business, Maybe you're finally achieving a long-term goal that you've been working towards for years. Whatever it is, you're shining bright, you're standing out from the crowd, and you're making a positive impact on the world, It's like the universe is saying, look at you, you're amazing, you're talented, you're capable, and you're making a difference. So embrace that success. Celebrate your achievements and allow yourself to bask in the glow of your own brilliance, Don't be afraid to shine. Don't be afraid to take up space. Don't be afraid to be seen and heard. Because you have so much to offer the world, and it's time for you to share your gifts and talents with everyone, okay? The sun is permission to be proud of yourself, And thinking back to the Two of Cups, the sun is also about love, connection, and partnership. Like that potential for harmony and balance that we saw earlier. It's finally coming to fruition, and you're creating a connection that is based on mutual respect, equality, and genuine affection, Maybe you're finding a soulmate, a kindred spirit, someone who just gets you and loves you for who you truly are. Maybe you're deepening your existing relationships, creating stronger bonds with your friends and family. Or maybe you're just learning to love yourself more deeply, accepting yourself unconditionally, and recognizing your own inherent worth and value, Whatever it is, you're surrounded by love, you're supported by your community, and you're feeling connected to something bigger than yourself. So, open your heart to love. Let love flow freely in and out of your life, and allow yourself to be loved and cherished by the people who care about you, okay? You deserve to be loved, you deserve to be supported, and you deserve to feel connected to something meaningful, Now, even with all that sunshine, it's important to acknowledge that the sun doesn't erase the past, Those Nine of Wands wounds, they might still be there, and those devil chains might still leave a mark. So, how do you make sure those shadows don't creep back in? Well, the first thing is to be aware of them, to acknowledge that they exist, and to not try to pretend that they're not there, Because if you try to suppress your feelings or ignore your past traumas, they're just going to come back to haunt you in different ways. So, allow yourself to feel your feelings, to process your emotions, and to heal those past wounds, It's okay to not be okay sometimes. It's okay to feel sad, angry, or scared. The important thing is to not get stuck in those emotions, but to allow them to move through you and to release them, okay? And the second thing is to set healthy boundaries, Like you've learned from the devil that you can't let people take advantage of you, that you can't sacrifice your own well-being for the sake of others, and that you can't stay in unhealthy relationships just because you're afraid of being alone. So, honor those lessons and create clear boundaries that protect your energy, your time, and your emotional well-being, Learn to say no to things that don't feel good to you. Learn to assert your needs and desires, and learn to walk away from situations that are draining or toxic. Because you deserve to be treated with respect, you deserve to be happy, and you deserve to be surrounded by people who lift you up and support you, okay? It really is okay to prioritize yourself. And the third thing is to trust your intuition, Like that high priestess energy is still there, guiding you, supporting you, and reminding you of your own inner wisdom. So listen to that inner voice, that gut feeling, that sense of knowing that just knows what's right for you. And don't let fear, doubt, or insecurity cloud your judgment or prevent you from following your own path, You have all the answers you need within you, so trust yourself, believe in yourself, and know that you're capable of making the right choices for your life, okay? Your intuition is always right, Okay, so what are some practical steps you can take to really embrace this sun energy and move forward with confidence and joy? Well, first of all, I would suggest spending some time in nature, Like, go for a walk in the park, sit by the ocean, or hike in the mountains. Just connect with the natural world and allow yourself to be filled with its beauty and its energy. Because nature has a way of grounding us, of reminding us of what's truly important, and of filling us with a sense of peace and gratitude, And the second thing I would suggest is doing something creative, Like paint, draw, write, sing, dance, play music, or do whatever creative activity brings you joy and allows you to express yourself fully. Because creativity is a powerful way to connect with your inner child, to release your emotions, and to tap into your own unique gifts and talents. And the third thing I would suggest is connecting with loved ones. Like, spend time with your friends and family, tell them how much you appreciate them, and let them know that you're there for them too. Because human connection is essential for our well-being, and it's important to nurture our relationships and to surround ourselves with people who love and support us, okay? Don't isolate, connect. So, to wrap things up, I just want to say that you are amazing, you are strong, you are capable, and you are worthy of all the good things that are coming your way. You've been through a lot, but you've made it through, and now it's time to shine. So embrace the sun, let it fill you with its warmth and its light, and go out there and create a life that is filled with joy, love, and abundance. And remember, the Labradorite Sun crystal is always there to guide you, to support you, and to illuminate your path. You've got this. I'm so excited for you, and for all the amazing things that are in store for you. Go get 'em. Okay, so Carnelian angel, right? And that's all about awakening, and our theme is really about that ember of passion, rekindling desire and purpose. So right away, I'm feeling like this is a reading about stepping into something new with a renewed sense of excitement, like finally waking up to what truly sets your soul on fire. It's like that feeling when you remember what you're truly passionate about. And then we have the cards. Oh my gosh, this is so good. We've got the Fool, the Hanged Man, and the Wheel of Fortune all together. Okay, so the Fool, right? This is all about new beginnings, like jumping off a cliff with nothing but faith. It's about that fresh start energy, that feeling of anything is possible, which totally vibes with the Carnelian and that awakening. It's like the universe is saying, okay, you're awake now, go explore. It's about taking a leap, right? And not being afraid to stumble, to make mistakes, because that's all part of the adventure. Oh, I'm getting chills. The Fool is that energy of pure potential, right? It's like you have all these possibilities laid out before you, and it's about choosing the path that excites you the most, even if it seems a little crazy or unconventional, okay? You know what I mean. The Fool doesn't really care about the shoulds or the have-tos. It's about following your heart and trusting your intuition, even if it doesn't make logical sense. That's huge. I'm getting so excited. So I think for you, this could mean a lot of things, honestly. Maybe it's a new relationship, or maybe it's a new job, or maybe it's just a new way of looking at the world, a completely different outlook. But whatever it is, it's something that's calling to you, something that feels really exciting and maybe a little bit scary too. It's that delicious mix of anticipation and uncertainty. I love it. And with that Carnelian energy, it's like you're not just stepping into this new beginning blindly. You're stepping into it with this fire, this passion that's been ignited within you. It's like you're saying, okay, universe, I'm ready. Show me what you've got. This is going to be good. But here's where it gets really interesting, okay? Because then we have the Hanged Man, which is a complete contrast to the Fool's energy. The Hanged Man is all about pausing, about surrendering, about looking at things from a different perspective. It's about letting go of control and trusting that everything is unfolding exactly as it should, even if it doesn't feel like it in the moment. So it's like, okay, you're ready to jump into this new adventure with the Fool, but the Hanged Man is saying, hold on a second. Before you go rushing in, take a breath. Reflect. What do you really want? What's truly important to you? This isn't about stopping you in your tracks, okay? It's about making sure you're making the right move, that you're aligned with your true purpose and your true desires. This is so crucial, right? The Hanged Man is about gaining clarity, about seeing things from a higher perspective, about understanding what needs to be released or sacrificed in order to move forward. I think this is a really important message, okay? So don't take this lightly. So maybe you've been so caught up in the excitement of this new beginning that you haven't really stopped to think about the potential consequences or the challenges that might arise. The Hanged Man is here to remind you to slow down, to be mindful, and to consider all angles before taking that leap. Maybe you need to let go of some old beliefs or some old patterns that are holding you back. It's like cleaning the slate, before the next chapter. And this is where that rekindling desire and purpose theme comes back in, right? Because the Hanged Man is about getting really clear on what you truly desire and what your purpose is, so that you can move forward with intention and authenticity. It's about aligning your actions with your values, so that you're not just chasing after something that looks good on the surface, but something that truly resonates with your soul. Maybe this is about surrendering to a different timeline than you expected, or letting go of expectations about how things should be. I think this is all about trusting the timing of the universe. Trust that everything is unfolding perfectly for your highest good. This isn't a punishment, okay? This is a gift. It's an opportunity to gain clarity, to strengthen your intuition, and to prepare yourself for the amazing things that are coming your way. Embrace the pause, okay? Embrace the stillness, and trust that you're exactly where you need to be right now. And then, oh my gosh, the Wheel of Fortune. This is where things get really exciting. Because after the Hanged Man, after that period of reflection and surrender, the Wheel of Fortune is like the universe saying, okay, you're ready, let's go. The Wheel of Fortune is all about change, about cycles, about destiny. It's about understanding that life is constantly evolving and that everything is interconnected. What goes up must come down, and what goes down must come up, It's the law of the universe. So after that period of introspection with the Hanged Man, the Wheel of Fortune is like the green light, the go-ahead to move forward. It's like the universe is saying, okay, you've learned your lessons, you've released what no longer serves you, and now it's time to reap the rewards. I'm so excited for you. This isn't just any change, okay? This is a destined change, a change that's aligned with your soul's purpose and your highest good. It's like the universe is conspiring to bring you exactly what you need, exactly when you need it. So amazing. But remember, the Wheel of Fortune isn't always about positive change, okay? It's about change in general. It's about understanding that life is a roller coaster and that there will be ups and downs. But the key is to stay centered, to stay grounded, and to trust that even the difficult times are serving a purpose. So maybe you'll experience some unexpected challenges or setbacks along the way. But don't get discouraged, okay? Because the Wheel of Fortune is always turning, and things will eventually turn around for the better. Just remember to stay flexible, to be adaptable, and to trust that you have the strength and resilience to overcome any obstacle. And trust that you're being supported, always. And with that rekindling desire and purpose theme, the Wheel of Fortune is like the universe aligning to bring you closer to your true passions and your true purpose. It's like all the pieces are finally falling into place, and you're being guided towards a life that's more fulfilling and more meaningful than ever before. Maybe this is a change in your career, a change in your relationship, a change in your location, or maybe it's just a change in your perspective. But whatever it is, it's something that's going to shake things up and propel you forward on your path. It's going to make you feel alive and connected to something bigger than yourself. So, get ready for an adventure, okay? Get ready for some twists and turns, and get ready to embrace the unknown with an open heart and a curious mind. The universe has big plans for you, and the Wheel of Fortune is here to make sure you're exactly where you need to be, exactly when you need to be there in alignment. This is your destiny calling, and it's time to answer, okay? Wow, that's a lot, right? So just to recap, we've got the Fool, that new beginning, that excitement, that leap of faith. Then we've got the Hanged Man, that pause for reflection, that surrender, that gaining of clarity. And then we've got the Wheel of Fortune, that change, that destiny, that alignment. And all of this is fueled by that Carnelian energy, that awakening, that rekindling of desire and purpose. It's like you're being guided on a journey to discover your true self and to live a life that's aligned with your soul's purpose. It's going to be so beautiful, okay? I can feel it. Okay, wow. I think that's a really strong foundation. I'm so excited to see what else these cards have to tell us. Okay, so the Eight of Swords, right after all that excitement. It's like, okay, you're ready to jump into this amazing new phase, the wheel is turning, things are happening. And then bam, Eight of Swords. So don't panic, okay? Don't panic. This isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it is definitely a call for awareness, a call to slow down and pay attention to what's happening internally, okay? It's almost like the universe is saying, okay, you're moving forward, but there's a little snag in the plan. Let's address it. The Eight of Swords is all about feeling trapped, restricted, limited, like you're stuck in a situation where you don't have any control, you know? It can feel like you're surrounded by obstacles and there's no way out, right? But here's the thing, and this is really, really important. With the Eight of Swords, the restrictions are often self-imposed. You might think you're trapped, but really you're the one holding yourself back, you know? You're the one putting up the barriers. This is a big realization, okay? So let's connect this back to the other cards, right? We had the Fool, that new beginning, that leap of faith. And then the Hanged Man, that pause for reflection. Maybe during that pause, some fears came up, some doubts crept in, you know? And now, with the Wheel of Fortune turning, those fears are manifesting as this feeling of being trapped. It's like the excitement of the Fool has run into the reality of the Hanged Man and created this sense of, oh no, what have I done? Think of it like this, okay? You're standing in a room, right? And you think all the doors are locked, all the windows are barred. But when you really look closely, you realize that some of the doors are unlocked, some of the windows are open. You just haven't noticed them yet because you're so focused on the feeling of being trapped, okay? This card indicates the need to really examine your situation, to look for those open doors and windows, to see the possibilities that are already available to you. You know what I mean? This is where the Carnelian angel energy comes in, that awakening, that rekindling of desire. It's like, okay, you're feeling trapped, but the Carnelian is here to remind you of your power, your passion, your ability to break free, you know? It's like a little voice whispering, hey, you've got this. Remember why you started. Remember what you're capable of. Okay? It's easy to get caught up in the negativity of the Eight of Swords, but the Carnelian is the antidote. It's the spark that ignites your courage and your determination. So crucial. So, what does this mean for this connection, right? The big question. Well, maybe there's a feeling of being trapped within the connection. Maybe you feel like you can't express yourself fully, or that you're not being heard, or that you're stuck in a pattern that's not serving you, okay? This could be a fear of vulnerability, like you are afraid of being truly seen and accepted, so you are keeping parts of yourself hidden. Or maybe it's a fear of conflict, so you avoid difficult conversations and let things fester, okay? Another thing to consider. Or maybe it's a fear of losing the connection, so you compromise your own needs and desires to keep the peace. All of these things are possibilities, but remember, with the Eight of Swords, these limitations are often self-imposed. So ask yourself, what am I afraid of? What beliefs are holding me back? What am I telling myself that's keeping me stuck? Be brutally honest with yourself, okay? Because once you identify those limiting beliefs, you can start to challenge them, to rewrite them, to create a new narrative for yourself. You know, and this is where the Hanged Man comes back in, right? Because the Hanged Man was all about looking at things from a different perspective. So, how can you reframe your situation? How can you see the possibilities instead of the limitations? Maybe you need to shift your focus from what's not working to what is working, or from what you can't control to what you can control. You know what I mean? And then, with the Wheel of Fortune, remember that change is inevitable. So, even if you're feeling trapped right now, that's not going to last forever, okay? The wheel is always turning, and things will eventually shift. But you can't just sit back and wait for the change to happen. You have to be proactive, to take steps to break free from those self-imposed limitations, okay? Think of it like climbing a mountain, right? The Eight of Swords is like being stuck in a ravine, feeling like you can't see the top. But the Carnelian is like your hiking boots, giving you the energy and the motivation to start climbing, okay? And the Hanged Man is like your map, helping you to find the best route, the safest path. And the Wheel of Fortune is like the weather, reminding you that conditions can change quickly, so you need to be prepared for anything. So what practical steps can you take, right now, to break free from this feeling of being trapped? Maybe it's having an honest conversation with this person, expressing your needs and desires, okay? Maybe it's setting some boundaries, saying no to things that don't feel good and yes to things that do. Maybe it's taking some time for yourself, doing something that brings you joy and helps you to reconnect with your inner power, okay? It could be anything. The key is to take action, to do something, anything, to break the cycle of feeling trapped. And remember, you're not alone in this, okay? You have the support of the universe, the energy of the Carnelian, and the wisdom of the cards to guide you. You are so supported. Don't let the Eight of Swords scare you, okay? It's just a reminder that you have the power to create your own reality, to break free from any limitations that are holding you back. This is a huge part of the journey, okay? So embrace the challenge, embrace the opportunity for growth, and trust that you are exactly where you need to be right now. The challenge. I know it might feel a little overwhelming right now, but I truly believe that you have the strength and the resilience to overcome this, okay? You've already come so far, you've already awakened your passion and your purpose. Don't let this little snag derail you. Let it fuel you. Remember that rekindling desire and purpose theme. This feeling of being trapped could actually be a catalyst for you to get even clearer on what you truly want and what you're truly passionate about. It's like the universe is saying, okay, you think you know what you want, but are you really sure? Let's test you. Let's see if you're willing to fight for it. So, what do you say? Are you willing to fight for it? I think you are. I know you are. And with the wheel of fortune still turning, the universe is ready to reward you for your efforts. But you have to take that first step, okay? You have to break free from those self-imposed limitations and claim your power, and you're going to do that. So yeah, the Eight of Swords can feel a little scary, a little daunting, but it's also an incredible opportunity for growth and transformation. It's a chance to step into your power, to rewrite your story, and to create a life that's truly aligned with your soul's purpose. And who doesn't want that, okay? So don't let the bars of the cage obscure your view of all the opportunities this connection is primed for. Take the awakened desire, embrace the energy of the wheel, and kick down those doors that you thought were locked. It is going to be amazing to see what the next cards say. I'm so excited. Okay, so after that Eight of Swords energy, right? Feeling trapped, feeling stuck. Now we pull the Hierophant. So this is interesting. I feel like the Hierophant is showing us why you might be feeling so constricted, like what's actually keeping you in that cage. The Hierophant, you know, he's all about tradition, about institutions, about established systems. He's the guy who upholds the rules and regulations, the status quo. He is about doing things the right way, the way they've always been done. So right away, I'm wondering if maybe that feeling of being trapped is connected to you feeling pressured to conform to someone else's expectations, or to follow a path that isn't really yours, you know. It's like, are you trying to fit into a mold that just doesn't fit? Think about it, right? We've got the Fool wanting to leap into the unknown, the Hanged Man asking you to redefine your perspective, and the Wheel of Fortune promising change. But then the Hierophant comes along and is like, whoa, hold on. Let's not get too crazy. Let's stick to the tried and true. Maybe there is an internal struggle, like part of you is yearning for freedom and adventure, but another part of you is clinging to the safety and security of tradition, okay? It's like, you want to break free, but you're afraid of what people will think, or what you might lose if you step outside the box. So, with this connection we're reading, what could that look like, right? Maybe it's feeling like you have to follow certain relationship rules, like you have to define the relationship in a certain way, or you have to meet certain milestones by a certain time. Or maybe it's feeling pressured to get married or have kids, even if that's not what you truly want right now, you know. It's like society is telling you, this is what you should be doing, and you're feeling guilty or ashamed for not wanting the same things as everyone else. Or maybe it's about feeling like you have to play a certain role in the relationship, like you have to be the responsible one, or the strong one, or the easygoing one. It is as if you can't just be yourself, you know. You feel like you have to put on a show, to conform to what the other person expects of you, right? That can be exhausting. I feel it. But the Hierophant isn't necessarily a bad card, okay? It can also represent seeking guidance from a mentor or a spiritual teacher, someone who can help you to understand the traditions and the systems that are in place. It's like maybe you need to learn the rules of the game before you can break them. Maybe you need to understand why things are the way they are before you can start to create change. So, in the context of this connection, maybe it's about seeking advice from someone who has experience in relationships, someone who can offer you some wisdom and perspective. Or maybe it's about exploring your spiritual beliefs together and finding a shared sense of meaning and purpose, right? This could be a really good thing. But here's the thing, okay? It's really important to discern between genuine guidance and just blindly following tradition. Because sometimes, the right way isn't actually the right way for you. Sometimes, the traditions and the systems that are in place are outdated or harmful, and they need to be challenged. So the Hierophant is also about questioning authority, about thinking for yourself, and about finding your own truth, and it's about breaking free from dogma. With that Carnelian energy, that awakening, that rekindling of desire, I feel like the universe is urging you to find your own spiritual path, to define your own values, and to live a life that's authentic to you, even if it goes against the grain, okay? It's time to embrace your individuality, to honor your unique gifts, and to trust your own inner wisdom, right? So important. Maybe this connection is actually pushing you to question your beliefs and to step outside of your comfort zone. It's like, maybe this person is challenging you to see the world in a new way, to consider different perspectives, and to embrace new possibilities. This could be a really good thing, even if it feels uncomfortable at times. But it's also important to be mindful of not completely rejecting tradition, because tradition can also provide a sense of community, a sense of belonging, and a sense of continuity. It's about finding a balance between honoring the past and creating the future, okay? It is about respecting the wisdom of the elders while also forging your own path, okay? It is so important, right? Maybe this connection is calling you to redefine tradition, to find new ways to honor the past while also embracing the present. It is about creating your own rituals, your own customs, and your own ways of celebrating life, right? And maybe it is about finding a way to blend your traditions with this person's traditions and to create something new and beautiful together. So, how does this relate back to that feeling of being trapped from the Eight of Swords, right? Well, maybe you're feeling trapped because you're trying to force this connection into a traditional mold that just doesn't fit. Maybe you're trying to make it look like everyone else's relationship instead of allowing it to be its own unique thing. So, the Hierophant is asking you to break free from those expectations, to let go of those rigid structures, and to allow this connection to evolve in its own way, right? What if you started defining your own rules, your own traditions, and your own ways of connecting, right? What if you created a relationship that's based on authenticity, on honesty, and on mutual respect, rather than on societal expectations? Ooh, chills. That would be so liberating, right? It's about honoring your individual needs and desires while also creating a strong and supportive partnership. So, the Hierophant is also asking you to consider the power dynamics in this connection, okay? Are you both on equal footing, or is one person holding more authority than the other? Is there a sense of hierarchy or control? I think this is important. Maybe you're feeling trapped because you feel like you have to defer to this person's opinions or decisions, even when you disagree. Or maybe you feel like you can't express your own needs and desires without fear of judgment or rejection, right? The Hierophant is calling you to create a more equitable and balanced connection, where both of you feel empowered to express yourselves fully and authentically. It's about respecting each other's boundaries, about listening to each other's perspectives, and about making decisions together as equal partners, okay? And it is about really being seen and really feeling safe. Think about where you might be giving your power away, right? Are you looking to this person for validation or approval? Are you relying on them to make you happy or to solve your problems? The Hierophant is reminding you that you have the power within yourself to create your own happiness and to find your own solutions, okay? And while it's wonderful to have support from others, it's important to remember that you are ultimately responsible for your own well-being, right? The core of this, it is about claiming your own authority and trusting your own inner wisdom, right? This connection can become stronger when you are coming together as two fully empowered people, rather than two people who are looking to each other to complete them, you know. Remember the hanged man, right? That call to look at things from a different perspective. The Hierophant is like, okay, now that you've shifted your perspective, what traditions, what beliefs, what structures are you ready to release, okay? What are you ready to let go of in order to move forward on your own authentic path? So powerful, I'm so excited. So some practical steps, right? What can you actually do with this energy? Start by identifying the traditions or expectations that are making you feel trapped, okay? Write them down, talk them out, get really clear on what's bothering you. Then, challenge those beliefs, ask yourself if they're really true, and if they're serving you, okay. Next, communicate your needs and desires to this person, be honest and vulnerable, and express how you're feeling. It might be scary, but it's so important for creating a stronger and more authentic connection, okay? Finally, create some new traditions together, find ways to connect that feel meaningful and fulfilling for both of you. And then, trust the process, and allow this connection to evolve in its own unique way. This is all about finding a balance between honoring the past and creating the future, between seeking guidance and trusting your own inner wisdom, and between conforming to expectations and breaking free to be yourself. It's about rewriting the rules and creating a new relationship based on what's truly in your heart. I feel like there's still so much more to uncover here, you know. Like, what's the ultimate outcome of all this? Is this connection destined to last, or is it just a catalyst for growth? I can't wait to pull the next card and see what the universe has to say, right? Are you ready? Because I am so ready. Let's do this. Okay, so we've got the Four of Cups, right after all that Hierophant energy. Oh, this is so interesting. So the Four of Cups is often about feeling apathetic, feeling bored, feeling like nothing is exciting you, you know? It's like you're sitting there with all these opportunities being offered to you, but you're just not interested. You're like, meh, been there, done that, you know. It's like the universe is trying to get your attention, but you're just tuning it out. And honestly, after all the stuff we've already seen, with the Fool leaping, the Hanged Man pausing, the Wheel turning, the Eight of Swords trapping, and the Hierophant judging, I can kind of see why you might be feeling a little blah, you know. It's like you've been on this roller coaster of emotions and experiences, and now you just need a break, okay? Maybe you're feeling overwhelmed by all the changes that are happening, all the challenges that are coming up, all the expectations that are being placed on you. And so, your response is just to shut down, to withdraw, to protect yourself from any more stimulation, you know. This makes total sense to me. Let's connect this back to the Eight of Swords, right? That feeling of being trapped, of being restricted. Maybe that's contributing to this apathy. It's like, you feel like you can't do anything, you can't go anywhere, so what's the point of even trying, you know? You feel stifled, so you just kind of give up. And then with the Hierophant, that pressure to conform, to follow the rules, to do things the right way, that can be so draining. It's like you're constantly having to censor yourself, to hold back your true feelings and desires, to pretend to be someone you're not. And eventually, that just wears you down, right? And you lose your enthusiasm, you lose your motivation, and you just start feeling numb, okay? So, in the context of this connection, right, what does this apathy look like? Maybe you're just not feeling as excited about spending time with this person anymore. Maybe the conversations are feeling stale, the activities are feeling repetitive, and the spark is just gone, you know. It's not that you don't care about this person, it's just that you're not feeling that same level of passion and excitement that you used to feel. Or maybe you're feeling disconnected from this person, like you're not really seeing each other, you're not really hearing each other, you're just going through the motions. It's like you're in the same room, but you're not really present, you know. You're just kind of zoning out, thinking about other things, wishing you were somewhere else. Another possibility is maybe you're avoiding difficult conversations or uncomfortable topics, you know. Maybe there are things that you need to talk about, issues that you need to address, but you're just putting them off because you don't want to deal with the conflict or the emotional intensity. So instead, you just stay silent, you just pretend that everything is okay, and you let the distance grow between you, okay? Another aspect of this could be that you have stopped appreciating what is in front of you, right? You've become so focused on what's missing, on what's not working, on what could be better that you've forgotten to appreciate the good things that are already there, okay? It's like you're so busy looking for the perfect relationship, the perfect partner, that you're missing out on the beauty and the potential of what you already have, right? That Four of Cups energy can be so sneaky because it can make you blind to the blessings that are all around you. So what do we do about this, right? How do we break free from this apathy and reignite the spark in this connection? Well, first and foremost, it's important to practice self-care, okay? You can't pour from an empty cup, right? If you're feeling drained and overwhelmed, you need to take some time to recharge your batteries, to nourish your soul, and to reconnect with yourself. This could mean anything from taking a long bath to going for a walk in nature to spending time with friends to pursuing a hobby that you enjoy. The key is to do something that makes you feel good, that brings you joy, and that helps you to relax and distress, okay? It is so important. So maybe you've been so focused on this connection, on making it work, on meeting everyone else's expectations, that you've forgotten to take care of yourself, you know. You've been putting everyone else's needs ahead of your own, and now you're paying the price. So the Four of Cups is a reminder that you need to prioritize your own well-being, that you need to make time for yourself, and that you need to do things that make you happy, okay? That's not selfish, it's essential. Then, another thing you can do is reevaluate your priorities, right? What's truly important to you in this connection? What are your core values? What are your non-negotiables? It's like maybe you've been so caught up in the day-to-day details, in the superficial aspects of the relationship, that you've lost sight of what really matters, right? So, the Four of Cups is an invitation to step back, to take a broader perspective, and to get clear on what you really want from this connection, okay? Maybe you realize that some of your expectations are unrealistic, that some of your needs are not being met, or that some of your values are not being aligned. And that's okay. The point is not to judge yourself or to blame this person, but to get honest with yourself about what's working and what's not working, and to make some conscious choices about how you want to move forward, okay? And this connects back to the Hierophant, right? Questioning those traditions, redefining your expectations. Then, think about how you can reignite the spark, right? How can you bring some new energy, some new excitement, some new adventure into this connection? This could mean trying new things together, like taking a dance class, going on a road trip, or volunteering for a cause that you both care about, right? It could mean exploring new topics of conversation, like sharing your dreams and fears, discussing your passions and interests, or reading a book together and talking about it, okay? It could mean creating new rituals and traditions, like having a weekly date night, celebrating each other's accomplishments, or expressing your gratitude for each other on a daily basis. It could mean anything. The key is to be creative, to be open-minded, and to be willing to step outside of your comfort zone, okay? It's so easy to get stuck in a rut, to fall into a routine, and to let the spark fade away. But it's also possible to reignite that spark, to bring back the passion, and to create a connection that's even stronger and more fulfilling than before. You just have to be willing to put in the effort, to take the risks, and to trust that it's worth it, you know. And how do you see those opportunities being offered to you, right? You have to look for them. And remember that Carnelian angel energy, right? That awakening, that rekindling desire and purpose theme. This isn't just about this connection, it's about your own personal growth and fulfillment, okay? It's like maybe this apathy is a sign that you're not living in alignment with your true self, that you're not pursuing your passions, that you're not honoring your values, right? So the Four of Cups is a wake-up call, a reminder that you need to take responsibility for your own happiness, and that you need to create a life that's meaningful and fulfilling for you, regardless of what's happening in this connection, okay? It's about remembering why you're in this connection to begin with. What initially attracted you to this person? What did you admire about them? What did you enjoy doing together? It's like, maybe you've forgotten those things, maybe you've taken them for granted, or maybe they've changed over time, okay. But it's important to revisit those memories, to reconnect with those feelings, and to remind yourself of what's still good and beautiful about this connection, okay. Remember that nothing stays the same forever, everything evolves. Ultimately, the Four of Cups is a reminder that you have a choice, right? You can choose to stay stuck in apathy, to let the spark fade away, and to drift further and further apart. Or you can choose to take action, to reignite the flame, and to create a connection that's more authentic, more fulfilling, and more meaningful than ever before. It's up to you, okay? And I know you've got this. You've already come so far on this journey, you've already faced so many challenges, and you've already awakened so much passion and purpose within yourself. Don't give up now. Trust the process, trust your intuition, and trust that you're exactly where you need to be right now, right? I am so excited, and I am so ready to pull this final card and see what is in store for this relationship and what the ultimate outcome is. Okay, oh my gosh, so after all that apathy, we pull the Magician. Like, hello, universe. Did you hear us? Did you hear us asking for a solution? Because the Magician is all about taking action, about using your resources, about manifesting your desires. It's like the antidote to the Four of Cups, you know? Like, wake up, sleepyhead. You have everything you need to create the life you want. The Magician is standing there with all these tools laid out before him, right? The wand, the sword, the cup, the pentacle. Each one representing a different aspect of life. Passion, intellect, emotions, practicality, everything he needs is right there. He knows how to use them, he's confident, he's skilled, and he's ready to create some magic. So right away, I'm feeling like this is a message about empowerment, about reminding you of your own abilities, your own potential. It's like, okay, you might be feeling a little down, a little uninspired, but you have so much power within you to change your situation, to create something amazing, you know. Don't forget that. The Magician knows how to transform things, you know. He can take a simple idea and turn it into a reality. He can take a challenge and turn it into an opportunity. He's all about alchemy, about turning lead into gold, about making the impossible possible, like wow, right? So what does this mean in the context of this connection, right? After all that apathy, after all that boredom, what can the Magician actually do? Well, maybe it's about taking the initiative to create some change, you know. Instead of just sitting around waiting for something to happen, you take the reins, you decide what you want, and you go after it. It's like, okay, I'm not happy with the way things are, so I'm going to do something about it. And I'm going to rock it. That Magician energy can be so powerful, right? It's about communicating your needs and desires clearly and confidently. It's about expressing your creativity and your passion. It's about taking action on your ideas and turning them into reality. This isn't just about wishing for something to happen, it's about making it happen. I mean, this energy is powerful, really powerful. Think about all those tools, right? The wand is about communication, about expressing yourself, about speaking your truth. Maybe you need to use your words to break through that apathy, to tell this person how you're feeling, to share your desires, to ask for what you need. It's like, okay, I'm not going to stay silent anymore, I'm going to speak up and let my voice be heard. I feel like, so often, that is the first thing to go. So important. The sword is about intellect, about clarity, about making decisions. Maybe you need to use your mind to analyze the situation, to identify the problems, and to come up with solutions. It's like, okay, I'm not going to just blindly follow my emotions. I'm going to use my logic and my reason to figure out what's going on and how to fix it. Makes sense, right? And the cup is about emotions, about connection, about intimacy. Maybe you need to use your heart to open up to this person, to share your feelings, to create a deeper bond. It's like, okay, I'm not going to keep my emotions bottled up inside. I'm going to let them flow and connect with this person on a deeper level. And then, finally, the pentacle is about practicality, about resources, about taking action in the real world. Maybe you need to use your skills and your talents to create something tangible, something meaningful, something that will bring you both joy. It's like, okay, I'm not just going to dream about it, I'm going to get out there and make it happen. So let's connect this back to all the other cards we pulled, right? We had the Fool, that new beginning, that leap of faith. The Magician is saying, okay, you took that leap. Now what are you going to do with it? How are you going to use your skills and your resources to create something amazing out of this new opportunity, right? It is such a clear progression in the story. And then we have the Hanged Man, that pause for reflection, that surrender, that gaining of clarity. The Magician is saying, okay, you've reflected, you've surrendered, you've gained clarity. Now it's time to take action, to put your insights into practice, and to create the change you want to see, okay? And the Wheel of Fortune, that change, that destiny, that alignment. The Magician is saying, okay, the wheel is turning, things are changing, destiny is calling. Now it's time to step into your power, to manifest your desires, and to create a life that's aligned with your soul's purpose, all right? It's like the Magician is the bridge between those first three cards. The Fool started something, the Hanged Man refined it, the wheel kicked it into gear, and the Magician is now the craftsman, okay? It is all about the hands on deck. Then we had the Eight of Swords, that feeling of being trapped, of being restricted. The Magician is saying, okay, you feel trapped, but you have the power to break free, you have the tools to dismantle those limitations, and you have the ability to create your own reality, okay? Stop giving away your power. And then the Hierophant, that pressure to conform, to follow the rules, to do things the right way. The Magician is saying, okay, you don't have to conform, you don't have to follow the rules. You can create your own path. You can define your own values, and you can live a life that's authentic to you, okay? And with the Four of Cups, that apathy, that boredom, that lack of inspiration. The Magician is saying, okay, you're feeling apathetic, but you have the power to reignite your passion, to find your inspiration, and to create a connection that's exciting, fulfilling, and meaningful, you know. It is all right there. It's like the Magician is the hero of this story, coming in to save the day, to rescue you from your own limitations, and to remind you of your own power and potential. It's like a burst of pure potential. And with that Carnelian angel energy, that awakening, that rekindling desire and purpose theme, the Magician is like the embodiment of that fire, that passion, that drive to create something amazing, you know. The Carnelian is like the fuel, the Magician is like the engine, and you are the driver, taking control of your own life and creating the destiny you desire, right? It is all you. So what are some practical steps you can take right now to embody this Magician energy and break through that Four of Cups apathy? First, identify your resources, right? What skills do you have? What talents do you possess? What tools are available to you? What support systems do you have in place? Make a list, get clear on what you have to work with, okay? It is time for an inventory. Next, set some goals. What do you want to create in this connection? What do you want to experience? What do you want to achieve? Be specific, be clear, and be realistic, okay? It's about setting the intention, right? Then, take action. What steps can you take today, this week, this month, to move closer to your goals? Don't wait for the perfect opportunity. Don't wait for inspiration to strike. Just start moving. Even if it's just a small step, it's still progress, okay? This is so important to remember. The perfection is the enemy. Communicate your needs and desires. Talk to this person. Tell them how you're feeling. Share your vision. Ask for their support. Be honest, be vulnerable, and be open to compromise, okay? It's about creating a dialogue, about building a partnership, and about working together to create something beautiful, okay? So important to remember. And then, express your creativity, find ways to bring some new energy, some new excitement, some new adventure into this connection. Try new things, explore new interests, and step outside of your comfort zone. It's about keeping things fresh, about keeping things exciting, and about keeping things evolving, okay? I think it is so critical. Remember, you are the Magician. You have the power to create your own reality, to manifest your desires, and to transform your life. Don't let apathy, don't let boredom, don't let limitations hold you back. Step into your power, embrace your potential, and create something amazing, all right? It is waiting for you. I am just like buzzing with energy after that, oh my gosh. with that Carnelian and the Magician together, and the momentum from all those previous cards. I am truly so excited for you, and I cannot wait to see what the final outcome of this all is with the next card pull. Are you ready? Because I am beyond ready. Okay, so Justice. Wow. After everything we've been through in this reading, this feels like such a powerful and fitting conclusion, you know. We started with the Fool, that crazy leap into the unknown, right? Then we had the Hanged Man, pausing to reflect and gain clarity. Then the Wheel of Fortune with all its change and destiny, the Eight of Swords and that feeling of being trapped, the Hierophant and those societal expectations, then that Four of Cups apathy, and finally the Magician, that burst of empowered action. It's been a roller coaster, honestly. And all fueled by that Carnelian angel energy, that awakening, that rekindling of desire and purpose. Now, Justice comes in to bring everything into balance, you know? To help us see the consequences of our choices and to align ourselves with our highest truth. It's like the universe is saying, okay, you've been on this journey, you've learned a lot. Now it's time to take responsibility and create a life that's fair, honest, and aligned with your values. So, justice, right? It's not just about fairness in the legal sense, okay? It's about cosmic justice, about understanding that every action has a reaction, every cause has an effect. It's about owning your choices, both good and bad, and learning from your mistakes, you know? It's about taking accountability for your part in creating your reality and understanding what the repercussions are, both large and small. Justice is also about integrity, about being true to yourself, about living in alignment with your values, okay? It's about making decisions that are ethical, that are honest, and that are fair to everyone involved, including yourself. You know, it's not about being a doormat, it's not about sacrificing your own needs for the sake of others. It's about finding a balance between your own desires and the needs of those around you, about walking that fine line, you know. It's about discernment, about being able to see things clearly, without bias or prejudice. It's about weighing the evidence, considering all sides of the story, and making a judgment that's based on truth and fairness, okay? It's about cutting through the BS and seeing things as they really are. You know, the universe will only ever give you what you are able to handle. Justice is a card of clarity. It's like a spotlight shining on the truth. It helps you see what needs to be addressed, what needs to be healed, and what needs to be changed, okay? It's about bringing order to chaos, about resolving conflicts, and about creating harmony in your life and in your relationships. You know, sometimes we need help seeing things clearly, you know. That's where we all get by with a little help from our friends. And with that Carnelian angel energy, that awakening, that rekindling of desire and purpose, justice is about aligning your actions with your soul's mission, about living a life that's authentic, meaningful, and aligned with your highest potential, you know. It's like, okay, I'm awake now, I know what I want, and I'm going to create a life that reflects my true self. So it can be a really powerful reminder. So, how does justice relate to this connection we've been reading about, right? Well, maybe it's about bringing some balance back into the relationship, okay? Maybe there's been an imbalance of power, an imbalance of effort, or an imbalance of give and take, and justice is calling you to restore that balance, okay? It might be about setting some boundaries, about communicating your needs, or about renegotiating the terms of the relationship, you know. It is time to reclaim yourself, okay? You are the only one who can. Or maybe it's about taking responsibility for your own actions in the relationship, right? Maybe you've been making excuses for your behavior. Maybe you've been blaming this person for your problems. Or maybe you've been avoiding taking ownership of your mistakes, okay? Justice is calling you to step up, to own your part, and to make amends where necessary, okay? You know, to make that change. Maybe it's about making a decision about the future of the relationship, right? Maybe you've been on the fence, unsure of whether to stay or to go, and justice is calling you to make a clear and conscious choice based on what's fair, honest, and aligned with your values, okay? It could be the time. It could mean ending the relationship if it's no longer serving you, or it could mean recommitting to the relationship and working to create a stronger, healthier bond, you know. But the key is to make that decision with clarity, with integrity, and with a sense of fairness to yourself and to this other person, okay? Think on it. Let's connect justice back to all the other cards we pulled, right? We had the Fool, that new beginning, that leap of faith. Justice is saying, okay, you took that leap. Now it's time to make sure you're building on a solid foundation of truth and integrity, okay? To be fair, not only to this other person, but to yourself, okay? You're a team always. The Hanged Man, that pause for reflection, that surrender, that gaining of clarity. Justice is saying, okay, you've reflected, you've surrendered, you've gained clarity. Now it's time to use that wisdom to make choices that are aligned with your highest good and the good of all involved, all right? And the Wheel of Fortune, that change, that destiny, that alignment. Justice is saying, okay, the wheel is turning, things are changing, destiny is calling. Now it's time to ensure that those changes are fair, just, and balanced, and that you're creating a future that's aligned with your values, right? That is when the good stuff starts happening. The Eight of Swords, that feeling of being trapped, of being restricted. Justice is saying, okay, you felt trapped. Now it's time to break free from those self-imposed limitations and create a life that's fair, balanced, and aligned with your truth. And you deserve this so much, okay? You just have to do it. The Hierophant, that pressure to conform, to follow the rules, to do things the right way. Justice is saying, okay, you don't have to conform, you don't have to follow the rules, but you do have to take responsibility for your choices and create a life that's fair, ethical, and aligned with your own values, right? It is time to find your own way. The Four of Cups, that apathy, that boredom, that lack of inspiration. Justice is saying, okay, you're feeling apathetic. Now it's time to reignite your passion, to find your inspiration, and to create a connection that's fair, balanced, and mutually fulfilling, to find the justice within that feeling, right? And the Magician, that burst of empowered action. Justice is saying, okay, you have the power to create your own reality. Now it's time to use that power responsibly, ethically, and with a sense of fairness to yourself and to others, right? Use your powers for good. It's like justice is the ultimate guide, helping you to navigate all the challenges and opportunities that life throws your way, and to create a life that's aligned with your soul's purpose, you know. It is all connected. So, what are some practical steps you can take to embody this justice energy, right? First, examine your own actions, right? Are you being honest with yourself and with others? Are you taking responsibility for your mistakes? Are you treating everyone with fairness and respect? Ask yourself the hard questions, you know. Next, set some boundaries. What are you willing to accept in this connection? What are you not willing to tolerate? Communicate your boundaries clearly and confidently, and be prepared to enforce them, right? That is one of the hardest ones to do. But so worth it. Third, make a decision. Are you going to stay in this connection or are you going to leave? Weigh the pros and cons, consider your values, and trust your intuition. Make a clear and conscious choice and commit to it fully. Think, what does my future look like? And ask yourself if that is okay. And finally, take action, whatever your decision. Take steps to create a life that's fair, balanced, and aligned with your truth. Don't wait for someone else to fix things for you. Take responsibility for your own happiness and create the life you deserve. It is all you, babe. Justice is here to remind you that you have the power to create a life that's fair, honest, and aligned with your values. And with that Carnelian angel energy, you have the passion, the drive, and the inspiration to make it happen, all right? Don't let anything hold you back. It's been a wild ride through this reading, you know. We started with a leap of faith. We paused to reflect. We faced challenges. We found our power, and now we're ready to create a life that's truly aligned with our souls. And remember, even if things don't always go as planned, even if you face setbacks and challenges along the way, you always have the power to choose again, to start over, and to create a new reality for yourself, you know. It is never too late. Trust your journey, trust your intuition, and trust that you're exactly where you need to be right now. I am so excited to see what you create, and I know it's going to be absolutely amazing. Go get 'em. Okay, so you picked the Citrine raw crystal. This crystal is all about grounding, which totally fits with our theme, because we're talking about building a foundation of growth in this connection, right? Like, how do you create something stable and trustworthy? So keep that grounding energy in mind as we dive into these cards, because it's all about bringing that stability into this connection. All right, so the first card we have here is Temperance. Temperance is all about balance, harmony, finding that middle ground, right? It's about mixing things together to create something even better, something stronger. And it's so key when we're talking about building a foundation, because, you can't really build anything lasting if things are all out of whack from the start. Like, imagine trying to build a house on shaky ground, right? It's just not going to work. So with Temperance here, I feel like the universe is really asking you to look at this connection and see where things might be a little bit off. Where are you maybe overdoing it? Or where is the other person maybe not pulling their weight? It's about finding that sweet spot, that perfect blend of give and take. And it's not always easy, right? Like, sometimes it means having those tough conversations, or maybe even making some compromises. But trust me, it's so worth it in the long run. Think of it like baking a cake. You need the right amount of flour, sugar, eggs, everything has to be just right, or the whole thing is going to fall flat. And relationships are kind of the same way. You need the right mix of effort, communication, understanding. All those good things. And when you get it right, it's like magic, But also, Temperance isn't just about finding balance in the external world. It's also about finding balance within yourself. Like, are you feeling centered and grounded? Are you taking care of your own needs? Because you can't really pour from an empty cup, right? So before you can even start to build a solid foundation with someone else, you need to make sure you're feeling good on the inside. And that could mean different things for different people. Maybe it means taking some time for yourself to meditate, or go for a walk in nature, or just do something that makes you happy. Maybe it means setting some boundaries with other people in your life so that you have more energy to focus on this connection. Whatever it is, just make sure you're prioritizing your own well-being. Because here's the thing, when you're feeling balanced and centered, you're better able to show up for the other person in a way that's healthy and sustainable. You're not coming from a place of neediness or desperation, you're coming from a place of wholeness and abundance. And that makes all the difference in the world. I'm also getting that this card is about patience. It's not always going to be smooth sailing. There are going to be ups and downs, challenges and obstacles. But the key is to stay the course, to keep working towards that balance, to keep communicating and compromising. Because that's what builds trust, that's what builds resilience, and that's what ultimately creates a lasting foundation. And you know what else? I feel like this card is also telling you to trust the process. Don't try to rush things, don't try to force things. Just let things unfold naturally at their own pace. Because sometimes the best things in life are the things that take time to develop, like a fine wine, or a really good friendship, or a truly amazing connection with someone you love. So yeah, Temperance is all about finding that balance, both within yourself and within the connection. It's about patience, trust, and knowing that the best things take time. And it's such a crucial first step in building a solid foundation for growth. Now, let's move on to the next card and see what else the universe has in store for you. Okay, so the next card we have is the Seven of Pentacles. And this card is all about investment, patience, and evaluating your efforts, right? Like, you've put in the work, you've planted the seeds, and now you're kind of standing back and looking at what's growing and figuring out if it's worth continuing to invest your time and energy. It completely builds off of Temperance because once you've found balance, you start putting in the work and see what yields come of it. It's so exciting. And I think this is a really important card when we're talking about the future of this connection. Because, relationships aren't just about, butterflies and rainbows all the time. They require effort, they require commitment, and they require a willingness to really show up and do the work. And the Seven of Pentacles is kind of asking you to take stock and see if that effort is paying off. Are you seeing the kind of growth that you want to see? Are you feeling fulfilled and satisfied? Are you both putting in the same amount of effort? These are all really important questions to ask yourself, and it's okay if the answer isn't always a resounding yes. Sometimes things need a little bit of tweaking, a little bit of adjusting, but the key is to be honest with yourself and with the other person about what's working and what's not. I'm also getting that this card is about delayed gratification. Like, you might not be seeing the results of your efforts right away. It might take time for things to really blossom and flourish, but that doesn't mean that you should give up. It just means that you need to be patient and trust that the seeds you've planted will eventually bear fruit. Think of it like planting a tree. You don't see the tree overnight, right? It takes years, even decades, for it to grow into something big and strong. But if you keep watering it, keep nurturing it, keep giving it the attention it needs, eventually it will become a beautiful and majestic tree. And relationships are kind of the same way. And you know, sometimes the Seven of Pentacles can also be a sign that you need to change your approach. Like, maybe you've been putting in a lot of effort, but you're not seeing the results you want because you're not doing the right things. Maybe you need to try a different strategy, or maybe you need to get some outside help. There's no shame in admitting that you need help. In fact, it's a sign of strength. It shows that you're willing to do whatever it takes to make the connection work. And sometimes that means seeking out a therapist or a counselor, or even just talking to a trusted friend or family member. I'm also feeling like this card is asking you to be realistic about your expectations. Like, no relationship is perfect. There are going to be flaws, there are going to be challenges, and there are going to be times when you just don't see eye to eye. But that's okay. It's part of being human. The key is to accept those imperfections and to focus on the things that you do appreciate about the other person and about the connection. To celebrate the small victories and to learn from the mistakes. And to always keep communicating and working towards a better understanding of each other. So yeah, the Seven of Pentacles is all about investment, patience, and evaluating your efforts. It's about being honest with yourself and with the other person about what's working and what's not. And it's about being willing to adapt and change your approach if necessary. It's a pivotal moment to see if this connection can become something more. And now, let's move on to the final card and see what the ultimate outcome of this connection might be. Okay, so finally, we have the Empress. Oh my gosh, this is such a beautiful card, and it really brings everything together, doesn't it? I mean, after all that balance and investment, the Empress is like the ultimate manifestation of abundance, nurturing, and creation. This really solidifies the reading theme because if you put in the work and build a solid foundation, you're going to reap the rewards. I'm so excited for you. Like, this is the card of fertility in every sense of the word. It's about creating life, creating beauty, creating something that's truly nourishing and fulfilling. And when it comes to relationships, the Empress is all about creating a connection that's based on love, compassion, and mutual respect. It's about creating a safe and supportive space where both of you can grow and thrive. A place where you feel loved, cherished, and appreciated for who you are. And you know, this isn't just about romantic relationships. The Empress can also represent strong friendships, family bonds, and even your relationship with yourself. Because at the end of the day, the most important relationship you have is the one you have with yourself. And when you love and accept yourself unconditionally, you're better able to attract and cultivate healthy relationships with others. It truly starts from within. I'm also getting that the Empress is about embracing your feminine energy. And this doesn't necessarily mean being a woman. It's about tapping into your intuition, your creativity, your nurturing side. It's about being open to receiving love and abundance in all its forms. And you know, sometimes we can get so caught up in our masculine energy, our ambition, our drive, our need to control things that we forget to nurture ourselves and our relationships. But the Empress is reminding us that it's okay to slow down, to relax, and to just enjoy the present moment, to appreciate the beauty that surrounds us and to connect with our inner wisdom. Think of the Empress as the ultimate Earth Mother. She's the one who provides for us, who nurtures us, who loves us unconditionally. And she's reminding us that we all have that same potential within us. We all have the ability to create a life that's filled with love, joy, and abundance. I'm also feeling like this card is about stepping into your power. Like you have so much to offer the world, so much love to give, so much creativity to share. And it's time to stop holding back and to start expressing yourself fully and authentically. Don't be afraid to be yourself, to be vulnerable, to be real. Because that's when you truly shine. That's when you attract the right people into your life. And that's when you create a connection that's truly magical. And remember, this all goes back to grounding, because Citrine encourages a stable approach, so this abundance isn't fleeting. So yeah, the Empress is all about abundance, nurturing, and creation. It's about embracing your feminine energy, stepping into your power, and creating a life that's filled with love, joy, and fulfillment. And after the Temperance and Seven of Pentacles, it is like the perfect culmination of all that hard work. I'm so excited to see what you create. And with all three cards together, I see a really clear message here. It's about building a solid foundation of trust and stability in this connection. It's about finding that balance, putting in the effort, and nurturing the growth. And if you do that, you're going to reap the rewards. You're going to create a connection that's truly abundant, fulfilling, and magical. Okay, so, wow, after all that abundance and Empress energy, we pull the Nine of Swords. Yeah, this is definitely a contrast, right? Like, we've been talking about building this amazing foundation, this beautiful, abundant connection, and now we're seeing, like, the shadow side of that. The fears, the anxieties, the things that keep you up at night. It's almost like the universe is saying, okay, you're on the right path, but don't think it's gonna be all smooth sailing. There are going to be challenges, there are going to be doubts, and you need to be prepared to face them. And honestly, it makes sense, right? Because anything worth building is gonna come with its own set of anxieties. The bigger the dream, the bigger the fear. So yeah, let's dive into what this Nine of Swords is all about in the context of this connection. So what kind of anxieties are we talking about here? I think, first and foremost, there's a fear of failure, right? Like, you've put in all this work, you've invested your time and energy, you've opened your heart, and what if it doesn't work out? What if you're not compatible in the long run? What if the other person changes their mind? What if something comes along and ruins everything? It's that fear of like, oh my God, I'm so close to having this amazing thing, but what if I screw it up? And that fear can be really paralyzing, right? It can make you second-guess every decision, overanalyze every interaction, and basically drive yourself crazy with worry. And then, on top of that, there's the fear of vulnerability, because building a real connection requires you to be open and honest and authentic, which means showing your true self, flaws and all. And that can be really scary, because what if the other person doesn't like what they see? What if they judge you? What if they reject you? It's like you're putting yourself out there completely naked and hoping that the other person will still love you for who you are. And that takes a lot of courage. You know, it really does. And then, of course, there's the fear of getting hurt, because let's face it, relationships can be painful. People can disappoint you, they can betray you, they can break your heart. And the more invested you are in a connection, the more vulnerable you are to getting hurt. So it's like you're walking around with your heart exposed, knowing that at any moment, someone could come along and shatter it into a million pieces. I feel like this is a deep fear for you in this connection. It's a fear you've experienced before or seen others experience, and you don't want that for yourself. So yeah, those are some of the anxieties that might be coming up for you right now. But the good news is, the Nine of Swords isn't just about fear. It's also about facing your fears and overcoming them. It's about finding the strength within yourself to push through the darkness and come out on the other side, stronger and more resilient than ever. So how do you do that? Well, I think the first step is to acknowledge your fears, to give them a name, to stop trying to pretend they're not there. Because the more you try to suppress your fears, the more power they have over you. So just sit with them, allow yourself to feel them, and recognize that they're a normal part of the process. Everyone has fears, especially when it comes to love and relationships. You're not alone in this. And then, once you've acknowledged your fears, you can start to challenge them. Are they really based on reality, or are they just stories that your mind is telling you? Are you catastrophizing, exaggerating, or jumping to conclusions? Are you focusing on the worst-case scenario instead of the best-case scenario? Most of the time, our fears are much bigger and scarier in our heads than they are in real life. So try to take a step back and look at your fears objectively. See if you can find any evidence to the contrary. And remember that grounding energy from the citrine. When you feel yourself getting overwhelmed by anxiety, take a deep breath, connect with your body, and bring yourself back to the present moment. Focus on what's real, what's happening right now, instead of getting lost in the what-ifs. And another really important thing is to practice self-compassion. Be kind to yourself, be patient with yourself, and remember that you're doing the best you can. Don't beat yourself up for having fears or for making mistakes. Just learn from them and keep moving forward. Treat yourself like you would treat a good friend who's going through a tough time. Offer yourself words of encouragement, give yourself a hug, and remind yourself that you're worthy of love and happiness. It's okay to be vulnerable, and it is more than okay to need help and support. It's part of the human experience. And I think communication is also key. Talk to the other person about your fears and anxieties. Be honest about what you're struggling with and ask for their support. Don't try to hide your feelings or pretend that everything is perfect, because that will only create distance and resentment in the long run. The more open and honest you are with each other, the stronger your connection will be. And remember, communication isn't just about talking. It's also about listening. So really listen to what the other person is saying, try to understand their perspective, and validate their feelings. Even if you don't agree with them, you can still acknowledge their experience and show them that you care. So important. But here's the thing, this is important. If you don't address these anxieties, they can actually sabotage the connection. Like if you're constantly worried about things going wrong, you might start to withdraw from the other person, or become overly critical, or create unnecessary drama. You might even push them away without realizing it, because fear can be a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you expect things to go wrong, you might unconsciously create the very situation you're trying to avoid. So it's really important to be aware of this potential for sabotage and to take steps to prevent it from happening. Don't let your fears control you. Take control of your fears. Don't let anxiety win. Don't let your insecurities get in the way of your happiness. You deserve to have a loving, fulfilling connection, and you're capable of creating one. But you need to be willing to face your fears and work through them. Otherwise, they will hold you back from achieving your full potential. Acknowledge the negative thought patterns and actively disrupt them. So where do you go from here? What's the way forward? Well, I think the next step is to focus on building trust. Trust in yourself, trust in the other person, and trust in the universe. Trust that you're capable of handling whatever comes your way. Trust that the other person has your best interests at heart. And trust that everything is happening for a reason, even if you don't understand it right now. Also, continue to nurture the connection. Keep putting in the effort, keep communicating, keep showing your love and appreciation. Don't let the anxieties distract you from what's really important. Focus on the good things, on the things you appreciate about the other person and about the connection. Celebrate the small victories and remember why you're doing this in the first place. What's the vision you're trying to create? What's the foundation you're trying to build? Keep that in mind and let it guide you through the tough times. And of course, seek support if you need it. Talk to a therapist, a counselor, or a trusted friend or family member. Don't be afraid to ask for help. There's no shame in admitting that you're struggling. In fact, it's a sign of strength. It shows that you're willing to do whatever it takes to make this connection work. And remember that you're not alone. There are people who care about you and who want to support you. So reach out to them, let them know what you're going through, and allow them to help you. Okay, wow. So yeah, the Nine of Swords is definitely a tough card, but it's also a really important one. It's a reminder that building a strong foundation requires you to face your fears and work through your anxieties. But if you're willing to do that, you can create a connection that's truly abundant, fulfilling, and magical. I can't wait to pull the next cards and see where this goes from here. Okay, so after all of that balance and hard work, and also the anxieties creeping in, the card for the future of this connection is the World. Oh my gosh. Wow, okay, so the World, right? This is a major arcana card and it's huge. It really feels like a culmination, a completion of a cycle. After the Nine of Swords, it almost feels like, okay, maybe the anxieties were just the final hurdle to get to this point of completion. But with that grounding energy of Citrine, let's find out more. Like, think about where we've been. We started with Temperance, finding that balance. Then the Seven of Pentacles, putting in the work and seeing what grows, right? Then boom, the Empress, this amazing abundance, but then, the Nine of Swords, all those fears and anxieties creeping in like, is this too good to be true? Is it going to last? But now, the World, it's like maybe you've actually made it through. Maybe you've conquered those fears. This journey is not over yet, however. There is still another card. But the World, right? It's about completion. It's about feeling like you've reached the end of a significant journey, a major cycle in your life. And in the context of this connection, it could mean a few different things, right? Like, one possibility is that this connection has fulfilled its purpose. It's brought you to a place of wholeness and completion. It's taught you valuable lessons, it's helped you grow as a person, and now it's time to move on. It is possible that this connection has run its course, and it is meant to end. Not every relationship is meant to last forever, and that's okay. It is part of this life. It is part of the human experience. But before we get too caught up in that idea, another possibility is that this is like a completion of a phase within the connection. You know, like you've overcome certain challenges, you've reached a new level of understanding and intimacy, and now you're ready to embark on a new chapter together. Like graduating college, and now you are ready to start your career and life. And it could mean you've both reached a point where you're ready to fully commit to each other, to build a life together, to create something lasting and meaningful. Like you've gone through so much already and have been through it all. I mean, think about it. You've found balance with Temperance. That's amazing. You've invested in the connection with Seven of Pentacles. That is also huge. The Empress brought so much love and nurturing. And the Nine of Swords made you face your fears. And with the grounding Citrine, made you ground yourself in reality, in what is. So, you've really gone through it all, haven't you? All these cards really go so well together, and it really builds off each other. And now, the World, this sense of completion, could be the reward for all that work. For facing those anxieties, for being patient, for staying committed to the connection. It's a really big deal. But there's also this feeling that, even though it's a completion, it's also a new beginning in a way. Because when one door closes, another one opens, right? So, even if this connection has fulfilled its purpose in one way, it could be paving the way for something even bigger and better in the future. It might be scary to move on from this. It might even be more scary if this isn't the right connection for you. Like maybe this connection was meant to teach you certain lessons about yourself, about love, about relationships, and now you're ready to take those lessons and apply them to a new connection, a connection that's even more aligned with your highest self. It is completely possible. Or maybe this connection is evolving, transforming, becoming something completely new. Like a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. It is going to take work, and it is going to be tough, but you've done it before, so you can do it again. You've already done it. But let's talk about those anxieties from the Nine of Swords, because they're still important, right? Does the World alleviate those fears, or does it amplify them? I think it depends on how you interpret this completion. If you see it as a positive thing, as a sign that you've overcome your challenges and reached a new level of understanding, then it can definitely alleviate those fears. It's like, okay, I did it. I faced my fears, and I came out on the other side stronger and more resilient. The World is yours for the taking. But if you see it as a negative thing, as a sign that the connection is ending, then it could amplify those fears. It's like, oh no, I knew it wouldn't last. I was right to be afraid. This anxiety can make you feel alone, even when surrounded by people. It can make you feel inadequate, even though you are more than adequate. So it's really important to choose your perspective here. To focus on the positive, to celebrate your accomplishments, and to trust that everything is happening for a reason. Don't let the anxieties get the best of you. And what about that citrine, that grounding energy? How does that play into the world? I think it's about grounding this sense of completion in reality. It's about recognizing that, even though you've reached the end of a cycle, life goes on. The world keeps spinning. There will be new challenges, new opportunities, new connections. The citrine is reminding you to stay present, to stay grounded, to not get too caught up in the past or the future. To appreciate the present moment, to enjoy the journey, and to trust that everything will work out in the end. This is hard to do, I know, but you are amazing. It's also about grounding this sense of completion in your own inner self. It's about recognizing that you are whole and complete, regardless of your relationship status. You don't need a connection to define you. You don't need someone else to make you happy. You are already enough. But you know, thinking about you, specifically, I feel like this card is really emphasizing your personal journey. All of these cards feel like they are emphasizing what you have to offer. Like it's not just about the connection itself, it's about what you're learning, how you're growing, and what you're becoming through this experience. So don't be too hard on yourself. I know you can do it. I believe in you. Like the anxieties from the Nine of Swords, they're not just about the connection, they're about your own insecurities, your own fears, your own limiting beliefs. And the world is challenging you to overcome those things, to step into your power, and to create the life you truly desire. You got this. So yeah, the world is a really powerful card, and it can mean so many different things in the context of this connection. It could be a completion, a new beginning, a reward, a challenge. But ultimately, I think it's about trusting the process, trusting yourself, and trusting that everything is happening for your highest good. Remember all of this. So where do we go from here? What's the next step? What's the final piece of the puzzle? I have no idea. I am so excited to see the final card we pull. I really cannot wait to see what is next for you and for this connection. We shall see. Okay, are you ready for this? After all that, the world and everything, the next card is the Five of Cups. Oh wow. Okay, well that's interesting, right? Like the world is all about completion and feeling like you've made it, and now we have the Five of Cups, which is, about loss, disappointment, grief. It's like, even when you reach this point of completion, there's still some sadness there, some lingering feelings of what could have been, or what you've lost along the way. But with the grounding energy of the citrine, it's not as bad as you think. Like maybe all those worries are just illusions. I mean, it completely challenges that feeling of completion from the world, doesn't it? But the thing is, remember with the crystal, you're grounded, so maybe it isn't as bad as you think. I am super curious to find out more. So let's dive in. So what does this Five of Cups mean in the context of this connection, right? Like, one possibility is that even though you've reached this point of completion with the world, there's still some lingering sadness or disappointment about something. Maybe you had certain expectations for the connection that weren't met, or maybe there were some things that you wanted to experience that just didn't happen. And it's okay to feel sad about that, right? It's okay to grieve the loss of what could have been. It's part of being human, right? You can't expect everything to go perfectly smoothly all the time. Maybe that's why all those anxieties in the Nine of Swords came about. But the thing is, the Five of Cups is also about focusing on what you do have, right? Like even though there are some spilled cups, there are still some cups that are standing upright. So it's about shifting your focus from what you've lost to what you still have. What are the good things about this connection? What are you grateful for? What have you learned and grown through this experience? It's about appreciating what is, instead of dwelling on what isn't. Because here's the thing, the more you focus on the negative, the more negative you're going to feel. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? But I think you knew this was going to come. Like it isn't a surprise. Also, like if you focus on what you have will grow. And all that growth is going to create more opportunities for you. It's the best thing for you to do at this time. But if you focus on the positive, you're going to attract more positive experiences into your life. You really have the power to choose your reality. And this could also be about forgiving yourself or the other person for past mistakes. Like, maybe there were some things that happened in the connection that you're still holding on to. some resentments or regrets. And the Five of Cups is asking you to let those things go, to forgive yourself and the other person, and to move forward with a clean slate. Because holding on to those negative emotions is only going to hurt you in the long run. It's like carrying around a heavy weight on your shoulders, right? It's going to weigh you down and prevent you from moving forward. I think it really is time to forgive. So it's about releasing those resentments and regrets and allowing yourself to heal. Everyone makes mistakes, you know? It's part of being human. The important thing is to learn from those mistakes and to not repeat them. This really helps you grow as a person, and it helps the other person grow too. But you know what else? This could also be about acknowledging the imperfections in the connection. Like, no relationship is perfect, right? There are going to be flaws, there are going to be challenges, and there are going to be times when you just don't see eye to eye. And the Five of Cups is reminding you that it's okay to acknowledge those imperfections, to not try to pretend that everything is perfect all the time. Because the more you try to suppress those imperfections, the more they're going to fester and grow. It is important to not put yourself down, though. It's okay to have imperfections. So it's about accepting the connection for what it is, flaws and all. It's about recognizing that those imperfections are part of what makes the connection unique and special. I really think this is beautiful and a great card for you. And you know, sometimes the Five of Cups can also be a sign that you need to grieve the end of something. Like, maybe this connection is coming to an end, or maybe it's transforming into something different. And it's okay to feel sad about that. It's okay to mourn the loss of what was. That makes sense too, with the World being the last card. This is the end. It's about allowing yourself to feel those emotions fully, without judgment. It's about processing your grief and allowing yourself to heal. Because the more you try to suppress those emotions, the longer it's going to take you to move on. It's okay to not be okay, you know? It is okay. So yeah, this card is all about loss, disappointment, grief, but it's also about focusing on what you have, forgiving yourself and others, acknowledging imperfections, and allowing yourself to heal. It is so powerful for you. But with the grounding citrine, the loss isn't as bad as you think. You can learn from this and move forward. But how does this Five of Cups relate to the World, right? Because the World is all about completion, and the Five of Cups is all about loss. Do they contradict each other, or do they complement each other? Well, I think they complement each other, actually. I think the Five of Cups is showing you that even when you reach this point of completion, there's still some sadness there, some lingering feelings of what could have been. The Five of Cups is showing you that it's okay to acknowledge those feelings. It's okay to not be perfect. It's okay to have regrets. You are more than okay. And the World is showing you that even though you have those feelings, you've still reached a point of completion. You've still learned and grown through this experience. You've still accomplished something meaningful. Even with the negative feelings, it is important to forgive. It's like the Five of Cups is the shadow side of the World, right? It's the reminder that even in the midst of completion, there's still some pain. This has been a lesson for you, and now it is time to put what you have learned into practice. But that pain is part of what makes the journey so meaningful, right? Because without the pain, you wouldn't appreciate the joy. Without the loss, you wouldn't appreciate what you have. And with that grounding crystal, you can do it all. So, yeah, they complement each other, I think. But it could also be a warning, right? Like, maybe the Five of Cups is warning you that if you don't address those lingering feelings of sadness and disappointment, they could prevent you from fully embracing the completion that the World represents. If you don't let go of those resentments and regrets, they could hold you back from moving forward. If you don't forgive yourself and the other person, you could be doomed to repeat the same mistakes in the future. I really think it is about being honest with yourself and with the other person about how you're feeling. If you are feeling sad or disappointed, don't try to suppress those emotions. Acknowledge them, feel them, and allow yourself to process them. And talk to the other person about how you're feeling. Be open and honest about what you're struggling with, because the more you communicate with each other, the stronger your connection will be. What you have learned through the cards together will only create a more positive future. So, where does this leave us, right? Like after all that, with Temperance, the Seven of Pentacles, the Empress, the Nine of Swords, the World, and now the Five of Cups, what's the ultimate message here? The final outcome? I have no idea. I'm so excited to pull the final card and see what it is. After all of this, I am on the edge of my seat. I cannot wait to see what is going to happen. Oh wow, okay, well that's interesting, right? Like, the world is all about completion and feeling like you've made it, and now we have the Five of Cups, which is, about loss, disappointment, grief. It's like, even when you reach this point of completion, there's still some sadness there, some lingering feelings of what could have been, or what you've lost along the way. But with the grounding energy of the Citrine, it's not as bad as you think. Like maybe all those worries are just illusions. I mean, it completely challenges that feeling of completion from the world, doesn't it? But the thing is, remember with the crystal, you're grounded, so maybe it isn't as bad as you think. I am super curious to find out more, so let's dive in. So, what does this Five of Cups mean in the context of this connection, right? Like, one possibility is that even though you've reached this point of completion with the world, there's still some lingering sadness or disappointment about something. Maybe you had certain expectations for the connection that weren't met, or maybe there were some things that you wanted to experience that just didn't happen. And it's okay to feel sad about that, right? It's okay to grieve the loss of what could have been. It's part of being human, right? You can't expect everything to go perfectly smoothly all the time. Maybe that's why all those anxieties in the Nine of Swords came about. But the thing is, the Five of Cups is also about focusing on what you do have, right? Like, even though there are some spilled cups, there are still some cups that are standing upright. So it's about shifting your focus from what you've lost to what you still have. What are the good things about this connection? What are you grateful for? What have you learned and grown through this experience? It's about appreciating what is instead of dwelling on what isn't. Because here's the thing, the more you focus on the negative, the more negative you're going to feel. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? But I think you knew this was going to come. Like it isn't a surprise. Also, like if you focus on what you have will grow. And all that growth is going to create more opportunities for you. It's the best thing for you to do at this time. But if you focus on the positive, you're going to attract more positive experiences into your life. You really have the power to choose your reality. And this could also be about forgiving yourself or the other person for past mistakes. Like, maybe there were some things that happened in the connection that you're still holding on to, some resentments or regrets. And the Five of Cups is asking you to let those things go, to forgive yourself and the other person, and to move forward with a clean slate. Because holding on to those negative emotions is only going to hurt you in the long run. It's like carrying around a heavy weight on your shoulders, right? It's going to weigh you down and prevent you from moving forward. I think it really is time to forgive. So, it's about releasing those resentments and regrets and allowing yourself to heal. Everyone makes mistakes, It's part of being human. The important thing is to learn from those mistakes and to not repeat them. This really helps you grow as a person, and it helps the other person grow too. But you know what else? This could also be about acknowledging the imperfections in the connection. Like, no relationship is perfect, right? There are going to be flaws, there are going to be challenges, and there are going to be times when you just don't see eye to eye. And the Five of Cups is reminding you that it's okay to acknowledge those imperfections. To not try to pretend that everything is perfect all the time. Because the more you try to suppress those imperfections, the more they're going to fester and grow. It is important to not put yourself down, though. It's okay to have imperfections. So it's about accepting the connection for what it is, flaws and all. It's about recognizing that those imperfections are part of what makes the connection unique and special. I really think this is beautiful and a great card for you. And sometimes the Five of Cups can also be a sign that you need to grieve the end of something. Like, maybe this connection is coming to an end, or maybe it's transforming into something different. And it's okay to feel sad about that. It's okay to mourn the loss of what was. That makes sense too, with the World being the last card. This is the end. It's about allowing yourself to feel those emotions fully, without judgment. It's about processing your grief and allowing yourself to heal. Because the more you try to suppress those emotions, the longer it's going to take you to move on. It's okay to not be okay, you know? It is okay. So yeah, this card is all about loss, disappointment, grief, but it's also about focusing on what you have, forgiving yourself and others, acknowledging imperfections, and allowing yourself to heal. It is so powerful for you. But with the grounding citrine, the loss isn't as bad as you think. You can learn from this and move forward. But how does this Five of Cups relate to the world, right? Because the world is all about completion, and the Five of Cups is all about loss. Do they contradict each other, or do they complement each other? Well, I think they complement each other, actually. I think the Five of Cups is showing you that even when you reach this point of completion, there's still some sadness there, some lingering feelings of what could have been. The Five of Cups is showing you that it's okay to acknowledge those feelings. It's okay to not be perfect. It's okay to have regrets. You are more than okay. And the world is showing you that even though you have those feelings, you've still reached a point of completion. You've still learned and grown through this experience. You've still accomplished something meaningful. Even with the negative feelings, it is important to forgive. It's like the Five of Cups is the shadow side of the world, right? It's the reminder that even in the midst of completion, there's still some pain. This has been a lesson for you, and now it is time to put what you have learned into practice. But that pain is part of what makes the journey so meaningful, right? Because without the pain, you wouldn't appreciate the joy. Without the loss, you wouldn't appreciate what you have. And with that grounding crystal, you can do it all. So, yeah, they complement each other, I think. But it could also be a warning, right? Like, maybe the Five of Cups is warning you that if you don't address those lingering feelings of sadness and disappointment, they could prevent you from fully embracing the completion that the world represents. If you don't let go of those resentments and regrets, they could hold you back from moving forward. If you don't forgive yourself and the other person, you could be doomed to repeat the same mistakes in the future. I really think it is about being honest with yourself and with the other person about how you're feeling. If you are feeling sad or disappointed, don't try to suppress those emotions. Acknowledge them, feel them, and allow yourself to process them. And talk to the other person about how you're feeling. Be open and honest about what you're struggling with, because the more you communicate with each other, the stronger your connection will be. What you have learned through the cards together will only create a more positive future. So, what does all this mean for you, right? Like, personally. I feel like this card is really emphasizing the need for self-compassion. To be kind to yourself, to be patient with yourself, and to remember that you're doing the best you can. Don't beat yourself up for feeling sad or disappointed. It's okay to feel those emotions. You're human. I know you can do it. Give yourself permission to grieve, to heal, and to move on. But it's not just about you. It's also about the connection itself. It's about acknowledging the imperfections in the connection and forgiving yourself and the other person for past mistakes. It's about appreciating what you have and focusing on the good things instead of dwelling on the negative. I think it's also about communicating openly and honestly with the other person about how you're feeling. Be vulnerable, be real, and don't be afraid to share your feelings. Because the more you connect with each other, the stronger your connection will be. So, where does this leave us, right? Like after all that, with Temperance, the Seven of Pentacles, the Empress, the Nine of Swords, the World, and now the Five of Cups, what's the ultimate message here? The final outcome? I have no idea. I'm so excited to pull the final card and see what it is. After all of this, I am on the edge of my seat. I cannot wait to see what is going to happen. Okay, here we go. After all of that, Temperance, Seven of Pentacles, the Empress, the Nine of Swords, the World, and the Five of Cups, the final card is the Moon. Wow, okay, that's intense, right? Like after all that talk about completion and loss, now we're getting the Moon, which is all about illusion, intuition, the subconscious, the hidden aspects of ourselves and of the situation. It is like, what's really going on here? What haven't you been seeing? And I have to say, with the grounding citrine, this could be really powerful because you can really have a solid foundation for diving deep. I am so curious about this. So, what does the moon mean in the context of this connection, right? Like, one possibility is that there are still some things that are hidden, some things that you're not fully aware of, either about yourself, about the other person, or about the connection itself. It's like you've reached this point of completion with the world, but there are still some pieces of the puzzle that are missing. It's like there is so much more to the story, and it is still yet to be discovered. I'm also getting a sense that maybe you have some fears about things and haven't dealt with them at all. Maybe you're afraid to look too closely because you're afraid of what you might find, maybe, like some hidden truths or some uncomfortable realities. But the moon is urging you to be brave, to dive deep, and to explore those hidden aspects. Because only by bringing them to the surface can you truly understand what's going on and make informed decisions about the future and know the true purpose of your life. Or maybe it's about trusting your intuition, right? Like, you might be getting some gut feelings about the connection, some hunches or premonitions, and the moon is telling you to pay attention to those feelings. Don't dismiss them as just being silly or irrational. They might be trying to tell you something important. It is totally possible. Maybe you have been ignoring your intuition and what it is trying to tell you. But those gut feelings, they're usually right? They're based on a deeper level of awareness, a connection to your subconscious mind. So trust them. You know what you are doing. You really have to. And if you don't trust them, now is the time to find out why. I'm also getting that this card is about facing your fears, because the moon is often associated with the unknown, with the darkness, with the things that scare us. It's like you've reached this point of completion with the world, but there are still some fears that are holding you back, some anxieties that you need to confront. I think it really goes back to the Nine of Swords. Maybe you're afraid of getting hurt, or afraid of being vulnerable, or afraid of failing. But the moon is telling you that the only way to overcome those fears is to face them head-on, to shine a light on them, to expose them for what they are, and to realize that they're not as scary as you think. Those swords in the Nine of Swords, I think they are an illusion. You have to find out. Don't let them control you. You are stronger than them. And you know, this could also be about acknowledging the shadow side of the connection. Like, every connection has a shadow side, right? There are going to be things that you don't like about the other person, things that irritate you, things that trigger you. You are going to have some icks. And the moon is reminding you that it's important to acknowledge those things, to not try to pretend that they don't exist. It is like those things you don't like are going to be there whether you like it or not, because they are just there. Because the more you try to suppress those negative aspects, the more power they're going to have over you. You are just going to continue to beat yourself up. Suppressing is the worst thing you can do. So it's about accepting the other person for who they are, flaws and all. Because remember, nobody's perfect. And this goes back to the Five of Cups. Nobody is perfect. And you really can't expect yourself to be perfect. Don't have unrealistic expectations for yourself or the other person. And it's about recognizing that those flaws can actually be opportunities for growth and understanding. They can teach you valuable lessons about yourself, about the other person, and about the nature of connection itself. I know it is going to be hard, but you can do it. You really just have to trust yourself. It is going to be a tough journey to go through, but it will be amazing. You can really grow so much, and it will be so beautiful. And you know, sometimes the moon can also be a sign that you need to take a break from the connection. Like, maybe you've been spending too much time together, or maybe you've been too focused on the connection, and you need to step back and get some perspective. I know that can be the worst thing if you are obsessed with a person. It's about giving yourself some space to breathe, to reconnect with yourself, and to figure out what you really want. Because sometimes the best way to understand a connection is to step away from it for a little while. But think about it. You don't want to waste your time if it isn't meant to be. You have a purpose. This is hard, but I know you can do it. You are strong, you are smart, and you are beautiful. So yeah, this card is all about illusion, intuition, the subconscious, the hidden aspects of ourselves and of the situation. It is like all those things that lurk in the shadows that you don't want to see or deal with. But with the grounding citrine, you can have the energy to face it. What you have to do is just believe in yourself. Trust that you have the strength and wisdom to navigate whatever comes your way. Remember to communicate openly and honestly with the other person. Be vulnerable, be real, and don't be afraid to share your feelings. Communicate. Also, really remember that nobody is perfect, and to also set some boundaries for yourself. I really believe in this for you. Like, it is important to have realistic expectations for yourself and to not beat yourself up for not being perfect. It is okay to make mistakes. You are human. The important thing is to learn from them and to keep moving forward. What all this means for you, personally, is I feel like this card is really emphasizing the need for self-love and self-acceptance. It is so important. To really be loving to yourself. It is what you deserve. I really think that you need to do some journaling to understand how you feel. You may not even know how you are feeling, and that's why you need to explore these feelings. To be kind to yourself, to be patient with yourself, and to remember that you're doing the best you can. I know you are. Don't beat yourself up for feeling scared or uncertain. You deserve to feel all of those feelings. It is part of the journey. It's okay to not have all the answers. It's okay to feel confused or lost. The important thing is to keep searching, to keep exploring, and to keep trusting that you'll eventually find your way. Because you are amazing, and you are capable of amazing things. Just like I know you can do anything. So where does this leave us, right? After all that, with Temperance, the Seven of Pentacles, the Empress, the Nine of Swords, the World, the Five of Cups, and now the Moon, what's the ultimate message here? The final outcome. Well, I think the ultimate message is that building a meaningful connection is a journey, not a destination. There are going to be ups and downs, challenges and triumphs, moments of clarity and moments of confusion. But what matters most is that you keep showing up, that you keep communicating, that you keep loving and supporting each other, and that you keep trusting in the process. Trust in yourself and trust the path that you are on. The citrine is there to help ground you. It is so amazing. To keep you grounded, it is telling you not to overthink things, to relax, and to remember that you got this. You really do. I know you can. This grounding is a way to reconnect with who you truly are. So please be sure to appreciate yourself. You are awesome. And honestly, I think you're ready for anything. With all that grounding citrine energy and all the wisdom you've gained, you're totally prepared for whatever comes next. You have everything you need inside of you. So go out there and create the life you truly desire. I am so excited for you. I just know that everything is going to be great. Remember that you are loved, you are supported, and you are capable of anything you set your mind to. This is your life, and it is yours for the taking. Don't let anything hold you back. This is your time to shine, and I can't wait to see what you create. Okay, so with the Aventurine moon, we're already talking about flowing emotions, right? Letting things just be like water. And whispers of the heart, it's like listening to your intuition, that quiet voice. So whatever's going on, the key is to trust your feelings and let them guide you. Okay, so the first card we have here is the Ten of Cups. Oh my gosh, this card is beautiful. This is like ultimate emotional fulfillment, you guys. It's like, picture this. A family, or whatever your version of family is, standing under a rainbow of cups, just radiating happiness, right? It's that feeling of complete contentment, like everything is exactly as it should be, you know. Like all your emotional needs are being met. This could be about a relationship, obviously, like finding that perfect partner where you just vibe together, and you're both on the same page about everything, like values, family, future goals, all that stuff. Or it could be about your family, like things are just harmonious, everyone's getting along, and there's so much love and support. Like, imagine holiday dinners where everyone's actually enjoying themselves. No drama, just pure connection, you know. But it's not just about romance or family. It could also be about your friendships, about having this amazing support system of people who just get you, who are there for you no matter what, who celebrate your wins and comfort you during your losses. It's like having your tribe, you know, and you see how it's cups. So this is all about emotions, right? It's about feeling deeply connected, loved, and supported. It's about emotional security, feeling safe and content in your relationships. This isn't just fleeting happiness. It's like a deep-seated joy that comes from knowing you're surrounded by people who truly care about you. Like, think about it. When was the last time you felt this kind of complete emotional fulfillment? Like, really, really felt it? Because this card is saying that that energy is available to you. It's within reach. But okay, there's always a but, right? It's not just going to magically appear. You have to be open to it. You have to be willing to put in the work to create these kinds of relationships or to nurture the ones you already have. But oh my gosh, it's worth it, so worth it. This is what we all want, right? That feeling of belonging and unconditional love. Now, let's see. So the next card is the Star. Okay, deep breath. This card is like a balm to the soul, you know. After maybe going through some hard times, because life isn't always rainbows and butterflies, right? The Star is that light at the end of the tunnel. It's hope, it's healing, it's like a cosmic reassurance that everything is going to be okay. See her pouring water. It's like she's nourishing the earth, right? Rejuvenating everything. So whatever you've been going through, whatever emotional turmoil you've faced, this card is saying that you're healing. You're finding your way back to yourself, back to that sense of inner peace. It's like you're washing away the pain and making space for new growth, new possibilities. This card often comes up after a period of difficulty, you know, after you've weathered the storm. So maybe you've been through a breakup, or a job loss, or just a really tough time in general. The Star is saying that you're coming out of it stronger, wiser, and more resilient than ever before. It's like you've learned so much, and you're ready to use that knowledge to create a better future for yourself. And it's not just about healing from the past, it's also about having hope for the future, right? It's about believing that things can get better, that you deserve happiness and love and abundance. It's about setting intentions and manifesting your dreams. It's like you're planting seeds of hope and trusting that they will grow into something beautiful. Okay, but how does this connect to the Ten of Cups? Well, maybe you've been through some relationship challenges in the past, right? Maybe you've had your heart broken, or you've struggled to find someone who truly gets you. The Star is saying that you're healing from those experiences, and you're opening yourself up to new possibilities. You're releasing the baggage and the limiting beliefs that have been holding you back, and you're making space for a relationship that is truly fulfilling and harmonious. Or, if it's about family, maybe there's been some conflict or drama in the past. The Star is saying that you're finding ways to heal those wounds, to forgive, and to move forward. You're creating a more peaceful and loving environment for yourself and your loved ones. It's like you're building bridges instead of walls, and you're fostering a sense of understanding and compassion. See, the Star is about believing in yourself, believing in your dreams, and believing that you deserve the best. It's about trusting that the universe has your back and that everything is working out for your highest good. It's about letting go of fear and embracing hope. Okay, so we've got the Ten of Cups, that ultimate emotional fulfillment, and the Star, that hope and healing. Now we have Justice. Ooh, okay, this card is all about fairness, balance, and truth, right? It's about making sure that everything is in alignment, that everyone is being treated fairly, and that the right decisions are being made. Justice is like holding up a mirror and saying, okay, what's really going on here? What needs to be addressed? What needs to be balanced? It's about taking responsibility for your actions and making amends if you've made mistakes. It's about standing up for what you believe in and fighting for what's right. But it's not just about external justice, right? It's also about internal justice. It's about being honest with yourself about your own flaws and shortcomings and working to improve yourself. It's about forgiving yourself for your mistakes and learning from them. It's about treating yourself with the same kindness and compassion that you would offer to others. Okay, so how does this fit in with the Ten of Cups and the Star? Well, maybe you're seeking that Ten of Cups, that perfect emotional fulfillment, but there's something that's out of balance, right? Maybe you're not being honest with yourself about what you really want, or maybe you're not treating your partner, or your family, or your friends fairly. Justice is saying that you need to address those imbalances in order to create that harmonious relationship you're craving. Like, maybe you've been putting your own needs last, right? Maybe you've been sacrificing your own happiness for the sake of others. Justice is saying that it's time to prioritize yourself, to make sure that your own needs are being met. It's not selfish to take care of yourself, it's necessary. Because you can't pour from an empty cup, right? You have to fill yourself up first so that you can give to others. Or maybe you've been holding on to some resentment or anger, right? Maybe you've been blaming others for your problems. Justice is saying that it's time to let go of those negative emotions and forgive those who have wronged you. It's not about condoning their behavior, it's about freeing yourself from the burden of bitterness. Forgiveness is a gift you give yourself. And how does this tie into the star? Well, the star is about healing, right? But sometimes, healing requires us to confront uncomfortable truths. It requires us to take responsibility for our actions and make amends. Justice is that process of confronting those truths and creating balance. It's about making sure that we're living in alignment with our values and that we're treating ourselves and others with fairness and respect. Think about it this way. Maybe you've been through a really tough time and you're finally starting to heal, thanks to the star. But there's still something nagging at you, right? There's still something that feels unresolved. Justice is saying that you need to address that unfinished business in order to truly move forward. It's about tying up loose ends and creating closure. Like, maybe you need to have a difficult conversation with someone, right? Maybe you need to apologize for something you did, or maybe you need to set some boundaries. Justice is giving you the courage to do those things, to stand up for yourself, and to create a more balanced and harmonious life. So, these three cards together, 10 of Cups, the Star, and Justice, are telling a story about emotional fulfillment, healing, and balance. It's about creating relationships that are based on love, honesty, and fairness. It's about taking responsibility for your actions and making amends when you've made mistakes. It's about standing up for what you believe in and fighting for what's right. It's about believing in yourself, believing in your dreams, and believing that you deserve the best. And remember, we're working with the Aventurine moon, so it's all about flowing with those emotions, trusting your intuition, and letting your heart guide you. It's about surrendering to the process and knowing that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. So breathe, trust, and let the whispers of your heart lead the way. Okay, so we've got the 10 of Cups, the Star, and Justice. And now, the World. Ooh, this is exciting. This card, it's about completion, right? Like you've reached the end of a cycle, you've learned all the lessons you needed to learn, and you're ready to move on to the next chapter. It's that feeling of, I did it, you know. Like you've accomplished something big, something meaningful, and you're finally seeing the fruits of your labor. It's also about feeling connected to everything, to everyone, to the universe, like you're part of something bigger than yourself. You're seeing the whole picture, and you understand how everything fits together. You see that woman in the middle, surrounded by the wreath. She's totally owning it. She's like, yeah, I did that. And you can too. Okay, so how does this connect to the 10 of Cups, that ultimate emotional fulfillment? Well, think about it. The 10 of Cups is about finding that perfect relationship, that perfect family, that perfect group of friends, right? It's about feeling loved and supported and connected. The World is like taking that feeling and expanding it out to the whole world. It's like you've created this amazing little bubble of happiness, and now you're ready to share it with everyone. It's about feeling like you belong, not just in your immediate circle, but everywhere you go. Like, imagine you're traveling to a new country, right? And instead of feeling like an outsider, you feel like you're part of the community. You're connecting with people from all walks of life. You're learning about new cultures, and you're expanding your horizons. It's like you're realizing that we're all connected, we're all part of this big, beautiful world, and we all have something to offer. You know, like I remember when I went to Italy, right? I was so nervous because I didn't speak the language, and I was afraid I'd feel lost and alone. But as soon as I got there, I felt this incredible sense of connection. People were so warm and welcoming, and I just felt like I belonged. I ended up having the most amazing time, exploring the cities, eating the food, and just soaking up the culture. It was like my whole world expanded, and I realized that there's so much more out there than I ever imagined. And that's what the world is about, right? It's about breaking down those barriers and connecting with people on a deeper level, regardless of where they come from or what they believe. It's about seeing the beauty in diversity and celebrating our differences. It's about recognizing that we're all human, and we all deserve love and respect. And it's about using your own happiness and fulfillment to inspire others to create their own. Like when you're feeling that 10 of Cups energy, when you're surrounded by love and support, it's easy to want to keep it all to yourself, right? But the world is saying that you have a responsibility to share that joy with others, to spread the love, to make the world a better place. It's about being a beacon of hope and inspiring others to believe in the possibility of happiness. It's like you found your tribe, and now you're ready to help others find theirs. And it doesn't have to be anything big or dramatic, right? It can be as simple as smiling at a stranger, or offering a helping hand to someone in need, or just being a positive presence in the world. It's about recognizing that every little action makes a difference, and that we all have the power to create positive change. Okay, so that's the world and the 10 of Cups. Now, how does this connect to the star, that hope and healing? Ooh, this is good. So the star is all about finding hope after a dark period, right? It's about healing from past wounds and believing in a brighter future. The world is like taking that healing and making it permanent. It's like you've gone through the darkness, you found the light, and now you're ready to live in the light. It's about integrating all of your experiences, both good and bad, and using them to create a more fulfilling life. It's like you've learned from your mistakes, you've forgiven yourself for your shortcomings, and you're ready to move forward with confidence and grace. Think about it this way. Maybe you've been through a really tough breakup, right? And you've spent months or even years feeling heartbroken and lost. The star is that moment when you finally start to heal, when you start to see the possibility of happiness again. The world is when you finally realize that you're stronger than you ever thought possible, and that you're ready to open your heart to love again. It's like you've learned so much from that experience, and you're ready to use that knowledge to create a healthier, more fulfilling relationship in the future. You know, I remember after my divorce, I felt like my world had completely fallen apart. I was so lost and confused, and I didn't know how I was going to pick up the pieces. But slowly, over time, I started to heal. I started to focus on myself, on my own happiness, and on creating a life that I loved. And eventually, I realized that I was stronger and more resilient than I ever thought possible. And that's what the world is about, right? It's about recognizing your own strength and resilience and using that to create a life that is truly fulfilling. It's about embracing your past, learning from your mistakes, and moving forward with confidence and grace. And it's not just about romantic relationships, right? It can be about any kind of healing. Maybe you've been struggling with a health issue, or a financial problem, or a difficult family situation. The star is that moment when you finally start to see the light at the end of the tunnel, when you start to believe that things can get better. The world is when you finally overcome that challenge, when you realize that you're capable of anything you set your mind to. It's like you've proven to yourself that you're strong enough to handle anything life throws your way. And that's an amazing feeling, right? It's like you've earned your stripes and you're ready to take on the world. Okay, so we've connected the world to the 10 of Cups and the star. Now, how does it connect to justice? Ooh, this is going to be good. So justice is all about fairness and balance, right? It's about making sure that everyone is treated with respect and that the right decisions are being made. The world is like taking that sense of fairness and balance and applying it to the whole world. It's like you've created a sense of justice in your own life, and now you're ready to fight for justice for everyone. It's about recognizing that we all deserve to be treated fairly, regardless of our race, our gender, our religion, or our sexual orientation. It's about standing up for what's right and fighting against injustice wherever you see it. Think about it this way. Maybe you've been discriminated against in the past, right? And you've experienced firsthand the pain and frustration of being treated unfairly. Justice is that moment when you decide to fight back, when you decide to stand up for yourself and for others who have been marginalized. The world is when you realize that you're part of a larger movement, a global movement for justice and equality. It's like you're connecting with people from all over the world who are fighting for the same cause, and you're realizing that together, you can make a difference. You know, I've always been passionate about social justice, but it wasn't until I started getting involved in activism that I truly understood the power of collective action. It's like when you connect with other people who share your values, you realize that you're not alone and that you have the power to create real change. And that's what the world is about, right? It's about recognizing our interconnectedness and using our collective power to create a more just and equitable world. It's about standing up for the underdog, speaking out against oppression, and fighting for a world where everyone has the opportunity to thrive. And it's not just about big, dramatic acts of activism, right? It can be about small, everyday acts of kindness and compassion. It can be about educating yourself about social issues, supporting ethical businesses, and having difficult conversations with people who hold different views. It's about recognizing that every little action makes a difference, and that we all have a role to play in creating a more just and equitable world. Okay, so we've connected the world to all three cards: the Ten of Cups, the Star, and Justice. So what does it all mean? Well, it means that you're on the verge of something amazing, right? You've created a foundation of emotional fulfillment, you've healed from past wounds, and you're committed to living a life of fairness and balance. And now, you're ready to take that energy and expand it out to the whole world. You're ready to share your joy, your healing, and your sense of justice with everyone you meet. You're ready to live a life that is truly meaningful and fulfilling. And remember, we're working with the Aventurine moon, so it's all about flowing with those emotions, trusting your intuition, and letting your heart guide you. It's about surrendering to the process and knowing that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. This feels like the end of a chapter, but definitely not the end of the story. I am so curious to see what the next cards reveal about how this plays out. It's like you've reached this incredible peak, but where do you go from here? What new adventures await? Are there challenges ahead? Or will it be smooth sailing from now on? Oh, I can't wait to find out. Okay, so we had the world like everything's accomplished, feeling connected, and now we pull the moon. Woo, okay, big shift, right? The moon is like mysterious, shadowy. It's all about illusions, the subconscious, and things that aren't quite what they seem. It's like going from broad daylight to a night where you can't quite trust what you're seeing. I'm getting a strong intuitive hit that maybe everything isn't as perfect as it seemed with the world, you know. So this is about the future of this connection, right? And the moon is showing up. That tells me that the future might involve some uncertainty, some hidden things coming to light, or maybe some fears that need to be addressed. It's definitely not a straightforward path. It's like navigating a maze in the dark, you know? You have to feel your way through, trust your intuition. Remember the Aventurine moon crystal. It's all about flowing, right? But with the moon, it's like the flow is happening in the dark, underground. You have to really tune into your emotions, trust your gut, because your mind might be playing tricks on you. Okay, deep breath. Let's connect this to the Ten of Cups. Remember that? All that emotional fulfillment, feeling loved and supported. The moon is asking, is it all real? Are there unmet needs hiding beneath the surface? Is there something you're not seeing or not admitting to yourself? It's like, are you truly happy, or are you just telling yourself that you are? This isn't to say everything is bad, it's just a call to look deeper. Maybe, like on the surface, everything looks perfect, right? You've got the loving partner, the supportive family, the amazing friends. But the moon is whispering, are you truly connecting with these people on a deep level? Are you being honest with them and with yourself about your needs and desires? It could be something as simple as, like, you're craving more alone time, but you're afraid to ask for it because you don't want to disappoint anyone. Or maybe you're feeling a little suffocated by all the attention and support, and you need to create some space for yourself. The moon is saying, it's okay to have these feelings. It's okay to admit that things aren't always perfect. It's about honoring your own truth, even if it's uncomfortable. Don't push things down. It's like if you ignore the whispers, they'll eventually turn into shouts. So listen to your intuition and be honest with yourself about what you need to feel truly fulfilled. Okay, so that's the 10 of Cups and the moon. Now let's bring in the star. Remember that hope and healing. The moon is asking, is the healing truly complete, or are there still some deeper wounds that need attention? Are you sure you've dealt with everything from the past? This isn't about going backwards, it's about making sure the foundation is solid, Maybe you've been through a tough breakup, right? And you thought you were over it, thanks to the star. But the moon is suggesting that there might still be some lingering pain or some unresolved issues that are affecting your current relationship or your ability to connect with others. It's like you've put a bandage on the wound, but you haven't actually cleaned it out, The moon is urging you to take off the bandage, take a look at the wound, and see what it needs. It might be scary, it might be painful, but it's necessary for true healing. Or maybe it's not about a romantic relationship at all. Maybe it's about your relationship with yourself. Maybe you've been carrying around some old baggage, some negative beliefs about yourself that are holding you back. The star helped you to see the light, but the moon is saying, don't be afraid to look into the shadows. What are those limiting beliefs that are lurking in your subconscious? What are those fears that are preventing you from fully embracing your potential? It's like you've come so far, but there's still some work to be done. Don't give up now. Embrace the darkness and you'll find even more light. Okay, so we've got the 10 of Cups, the star, and the moon. What about justice? Remember that fairness and balance? The moon is now asking, is everything truly fair and balanced, or are there some hidden power dynamics at play? This is where it gets tricky, right? Because sometimes we think we're being fair and just, but we're actually operating from a place of unconscious bias. Or maybe we're allowing ourselves to be treated unfairly because we're afraid of confrontation. The moon is urging you to examine your relationships, your family dynamics, your friendships. Are there any imbalances? Is anyone taking advantage of anyone else? Are you being honest with yourself and with others about your needs and expectations? It's like, are you truly standing up for yourself, or are you letting others walk all over you? This isn't about blaming anyone, it's about taking responsibility for your own role in the situation. Are you contributing to the imbalance in any way? Are you enabling someone else's bad behavior? The moon is saying, it's time to break free from those patterns. It's time to assert yourself, to set some boundaries, and to demand to be treated with respect. It's not always easy, but it's necessary for creating a truly fair and balanced relationship. Like, maybe you're always the one who compromises, right? Maybe you always put other people's needs before your own. Justice, combined with the moon, is saying, it's time to prioritize yourself. It's not selfish to take care of yourself, it's essential. You can't pour from an empty cup, remember? So make sure you're getting your needs met, and don't be afraid to ask for what you deserve. This is a major call to trust your intuition and to not let yourself be gaslit or manipulated. Okay, so we've got the 10 of Cups, the star, justice, and now the world and the moon. We have to tie this all together. The world was all about completion, right? Feeling like you've reached the end of a cycle, feeling connected to everything. But the moon is asking, is that sense of completion genuine, or is it a way to avoid dealing with unresolved issues? Are you using that feeling of accomplishment to mask some deeper insecurities or fears? It's like, have you truly finished the journey, or are you just telling yourself that you have so you don't have to keep going? Maybe you've achieved a big goal, right? You've got the dream job, the perfect relationship, the beautiful house. And you're feeling like, okay, I've made it. I can finally relax. But the moon is suggesting that there might still be some underlying anxieties or uncertainties that you're not addressing. Maybe you're afraid of losing what you've gained. Maybe you're worried that you're not good enough to maintain your success. The moon is saying, don't let those fears control you. It's okay to feel vulnerable. It's okay to admit that you don't have all the answers. The journey is never truly over, right? There's always more to learn, more to experience, more to discover. Embrace the unknown, and don't be afraid to keep growing and evolving. It's like the end of one chapter is just the beginning of another. and the moon is here to illuminate the path forward, even if it's shadowy. So overall, what's the message here? With the Aventurine moon, we're already talking about flowing emotions, right? So we know that the way forward is to let your feelings guide you, not to fight them. The moon is telling you that the future of this connection, whatever it is, involves a journey into the subconscious, a confrontation with your fears, and a deep dive into your intuition. It's not going to be easy, but it's going to be worth it. Trust yourself, be honest with yourself, and don't be afraid to embrace the shadows. This is like a major invitation to shadow work, you know. Don't let illusions cloud your judgment. See things as they truly are, not as you want them to be. And remember, the darkness is not something to be feared, it's something to be explored. It's where you'll find your greatest strengths, your deepest wisdom, and your truest self. So breathe, trust, and let the whispers of your heart lead the way, even when you can't see the path clearly. This is going to be a wild ride. I can feel it. I am so curious what the next cards will bring. It feels like we're about to uncover some major secrets. Okay, so after all that, like digging into the shadows with the moon, we're now pulling the Three of Wands. Okay, so in general, this card is like, you've planted the seeds, you've started the journey, and now you're looking out at the horizon, planning your next move. It's about expansion, right? Seeing the bigger picture and preparing for future opportunities. It's about having a solid foundation and then, like, confidently stepping forward. But given everything we've already seen. Okay, so, like, how does the Three of Wands connect to the moon? This is where it gets interesting, right? Because the moon is all about illusions and uncertainty. It's like, you think you see the horizon, you think you know where you're going, but are you sure? Are you really seeing things clearly? Or are you being misled by some kind of illusion? The Three of Wands, in this context, isn't just about blindly charging ahead. It's about carefully assessing the landscape before you commit to a course of action. It's about doing your due diligence. Maybe you need to gather more information, talk to some trusted advisors, or just, like, sit with your feelings for a while before making any big decisions. It's about acknowledging that things might not be what they seem, and being willing to adjust your plans accordingly. It is like, you might have this grand vision, right? You see yourself, like, sailing off into the sunset, achieving all your goals and living your best life, but the moon is saying, hold on a second. Are you sure that sunset is real? Are you sure there aren't any storms brewing on the horizon? It's not about giving up on your dreams, it's about being realistic and prepared. It is about recognizing the potential pitfalls and having a backup plan in place. It's about being willing to change direction if you need to, even if it means abandoning your original vision. This card invites you to pause, reflect, and really analyze if your plans align with your internal guidance. You want to expand with solid foundations and authenticity, so you aren't building on a house of cards. Okay, so we've got the moon and the Three of Wands. What about the Ten of Cups? Remember that ultimate emotional fulfillment. The Three of Wands is asking, is that fulfillment sustainable? Is it based on a solid foundation, or is it just a fleeting moment of happiness? Like, are you expanding on something real, or are you just trying to create a facade? It's one thing to feel happy and content in the moment, but it's another thing to build a lasting relationship or a fulfilling life. The Three of Wands is urging you to think long-term. Are you investing in your relationships? Are you nurturing your passions? Are you creating a life that will bring you joy and fulfillment for years to come? It's like you might have that perfect family dinner where everyone is laughing and getting along. But is that just a snapshot in time, or is it a reflection of a deeper connection? The Three of Wands is saying, don't just rest on your laurels. Keep working to strengthen those bonds, to create a foundation of love and support that will withstand the test of time. It's about recognizing that emotional fulfillment is not a destination, but a journey. It's about continuously nurturing your relationships and creating new opportunities for connection and growth. Expansion from this grounded place with your feelings is what will bring sustained joy, not a flash in the pan. And what about the star? Remember that hope and healing. The Three of Wands is saying, you've healed from the past, you have hope for the future, but what are you going to do about it? How are you going to turn that hope into reality? It's about taking that healing and using it as a springboard for growth. It's about setting goals, making plans, and taking action to create the life you've always dreamed of. It is like you've been through a tough time, right? You've weathered the storm, and you've emerged stronger and wiser than ever before. The star has given you the courage to believe in yourself again, to believe in the possibility of happiness. But the Three of Wands is saying, don't just sit there and wait for happiness to come to you. Go out and create it. It's about taking that newfound confidence and using it to pursue your passions, to build meaningful relationships, and to make a positive impact on the world. It's about recognizing that healing is not an end in itself, but a means to an end. It is about using your experiences to create a better future for yourself and for others. This card asks you to take what you have learned and really apply it, and to be confident in these steps as you move forward. What action steps are you committing to right now? What steps are you preparing for? Okay, so we've got the Moon, the Ten of Cups, the Star, and the Three of Wands. Now let's bring in justice. Remember that fairness and balance. The Three of Wands is now asking, are your plans aligned with your values? Are you creating a future that is fair and just for everyone, or are you just focused on your own personal gain? This is about expanding in a way that is ethical and responsible. It's about considering the impact of your actions on others and making sure that you're not harming anyone in the process. It is like, you might have this amazing business idea, right? You see yourself making tons of money and living a life of luxury, but justice is saying, hold on a second. Are you exploiting your workers? Are you polluting the environment? Are you contributing to social inequality? The Three of Wands is urging you to think about the bigger picture, to create a business that is not only profitable, but also socially responsible. It's about recognizing that true success is not just about financial gain, but about making a positive impact on the world. Are you taking advantage of anyone in your plans? Are you really being fair in your partnerships? This card is a big call to analyze your ethical code and make sure you are really committed to the pursuit of justice. And a note, remember the Moon, are you sure you know the full story of any partners? Okay, so we've connected the Three of Wands to the Ten of Cups, the Star, Justice, and the Moon. Now, what about the world? Remember that sense of completion. The Three of Wands is asking, are you truly finished with that cycle, or is there still some work to be done? It's about building on that foundation of completion and expanding your horizons even further. It's about taking what you've learned and using it to create something even bigger and better. It is like you've reached the top of the mountain, right? You've achieved your goals and you're feeling a sense of accomplishment. But the Three of Wands is saying, don't just stand there and admire the view. Look out at the horizon. What new challenges await you? What new adventures are calling your name? It's about recognizing that completion is not an end, but a beginning. It's about using your past experiences to create an even more fulfilling future. What does expansion look like for you? Is there another level, another goal, another dream? This card is asking you to think big and start making those preparations. So we've connected the Three of Wands to all the previous cards. So what's the overall message here? With the Aventurine Moon, we know that the way forward is to trust your intuition and flow with your emotions, and let the whispers of your heart guide you. But the Three of Wands is adding a layer of practicality to that. It's saying, don't just drift along aimlessly. Take control of your destiny. Make plans, set goals, and take action to create the life you want. It's about finding a balance between intuition and action, between trusting your feelings and making conscious choices. It's about recognizing that you have the power to shape your own future, but you also need to be mindful of the potential pitfalls and challenges along the way. So, how do you do that? How do you trust your intuition while also making concrete plans? Well, it starts with getting clear about your values. What is most important to you? What kind of life do you want to create? Once you know what you stand for, it becomes easier to make decisions that are aligned with your values. Then, you need to listen to your intuition. Pay attention to your gut feelings. What is your heart telling you? What feels right and what feels wrong? Don't ignore those inner signals. They are your guides. And finally, you need to take action. don't just sit around and wait for things to happen. Get out there and make them happen. Take small steps every day towards your goals. The universe rewards action. I think with all this talk of uncertainty, this card serves as a reminder to trust in yourself and what you have built as you look forward. This feels like a moment to really trust your gut, and remember that the future isn't something that just happens to you. So breathe, trust, and let the whispers of your heart lead the way, but don't be afraid to take the reins and steer your own ship, too. I am so ready for this final card because this could go anywhere. Is it going to be a warning, a celebration, a call to action? I'm on the edge of my seat. Okay, so after all that, like emotional roller coaster, right? We've been diving deep into, like, our feelings, facing our shadows, and trying to figure out how to move forward with intention. And now we pull Judgment. Whoa, this is huge. Okay, so in general, Judgment is like a wake-up call, right? It's about rebirth, transformation, and answering a call. It's like the universe is saying, okay, it's time to make a decision. It's time to rise up and be who you're meant to be. But given everything we've already seen, like all that stuff with the moon and the Three of Wands. Okay, so how does Judgment connect to the moon? This is so interesting, because the moon was all about, like, illusions and hidden things, right? It was about not really knowing what's real and what's not. Judgment is like the antidote to that. It's like the universe is shining a light on the truth, clearing away the fog, and helping you see things as they really are. It's a call for clarity. It's like, okay, enough with the shadows. It's time to face the music. It's time to make a decision based on what's real, not on what you think is real. You know, it's like with the moon, you might be like having all these doubts and fears, right? You're not sure if you can trust yourself. You're not sure if you can trust others. Judgment is like, okay, trust your intuition. Trust what you know to be true in your heart. The truth will set you free. And how does this connect to the Ten of Cups? Because that's where we started, right? With that feeling of total emotional fulfillment. Well, Judgment is asking, is that fulfillment real, or is it based on something that needs to be reevaluated? Are you truly happy in those relationships, or are you just settling? It's not about throwing everything away. It's about being honest with yourself about what's working and what's not. Like, maybe you're holding on to a relationship because you're afraid of being alone, right? But Judgment is saying, is that really fair to you? Is it fair to the other person? Maybe it's time to have a tough conversation, to clear the air, and to decide whether or not that relationship is truly serving your highest good. It's like a big reality check, but in a good way. It could also be about family stuff. Are there old patterns or dynamics that need to be addressed? Judgment is saying, it's time to forgive, to heal, and to move forward. But you can't do that until you're willing to face the truth. Because sometimes family stuff can be the hardest, right? There's so much history, so much emotion involved. But Judgment is saying, you have the power to break free from those old cycles, to create a healthier and more loving family dynamic. It's also interesting with the star in mind because that was about healing, right? So Judgment is almost like the next level of healing. It's saying, okay, you've started to heal, but now it's time to really integrate those lessons and make some big changes in your life. Are you really living in alignment with what you've learned? Have you truly forgiven yourself and others? Okay, so Judgment with justice, whoa, that's a double dose of truth and fairness. Justice was all about balance, right? Making sure everything is in alignment. Judgment is like taking that to a whole new level because this is about karmic justice, divine timing. It's like the universe is stepping in and saying, okay, it's time to settle the score. But it's not about revenge or punishment. It's about creating true and lasting balance. So it's like, if you've been wronged in some way, Judgment is saying that things will be made right. The universe will find a way to restore balance and fairness. But it also means that if you've been doing wrong, it's time to face the consequences. It's time to take responsibility for your actions and make amends. It's not always easy, but it's necessary for growth. I'm thinking about how Judgment might be calling you to a higher standard of integrity. Like, are you truly living in alignment with your values? Are you being honest in all your dealings? It's about looking at yourself and asking, am I really being the best version of myself? Am I treating others with the respect and fairness they deserve? Because if you're not, judgment is saying that it's time to make some changes. And it could be something as simple as, being more mindful of your words and actions, or it could be something bigger, like standing up for someone who's being mistreated. Because justice is also about fighting for what's right? But judgment adds this layer of urgency. It's like, okay, the time for action is now. Don't wait any longer. Stand up for what you believe in and make a difference in the world. Now, how does judgment connect to the world? Remember that feeling of completion. Judgment is asking, is that completion a real ending, or is it a transition to something new? It's like you've finished one chapter of your life, and now it's time to start the next. But before you can do that, you need to make a decision about what you want that next chapter to look like. It's about recognizing that you've learned so much, you've grown so much, and now it's time to use that knowledge and growth to create something even better. It's like you're being called to a higher purpose, a bigger mission. Judgment is saying, what are you going to do with all that you've learned? How are you going to use your gifts and talents to make a difference in the world? And this ties into Three of Wands, right? This card is saying, you're planning for the future, you're looking at the horizon, but are you really clear about what you want? Have you really answered the call? It's almost like judgment is the moment of truth, and Three of Wands is what you do after you've made your decision. You have a choice to make. And this is about realizing what your impact will be moving forward. Are you in alignment? Does your internal world match the external plan you are building towards? So, it's about making sure you're expanding in a way that feels authentic and aligned with your values. You might have to make some tough choices. You might have to let go of some things that no longer serve you, but it's all part of the process. So judgment is like this big, powerful energy that's shaking things up and calling you to action. It's not always comfortable, but it's always necessary. And remember, we're working with the Aventurine moon crystal, right? So it's all about flowing with those emotions, trusting your intuition, and letting your heart guide you. Because even though judgment can feel like this external force, it's really coming from within. It's your own inner voice, your own higher self, calling you to be more, to do more, to live more fully. It's like, you already know what you need to do. You already know what decisions you need to make. Judgment is just giving you the courage and the clarity to finally take action. So trust yourself, trust your intuition, and trust that the universe has your back. Even if it feels scary, even if it feels like you're stepping into the unknown, know that you're being guided and supported every step of the way. Because this is about releasing old narratives, old beliefs about yourself, and what is truly possible. It also feels like accepting that you will continue to evolve. This isn't about being perfect now, and it's about embracing a journey towards your best possible self. Like, really believing you are worthy and capable. This feels like such a pivotal moment. This feels like everything is about to change. Oh my gosh, I am so curious to see what card comes next, because that's going to tell us which direction this transformation is taking you, what kind of energy you're moving towards. It could be anything. I'm so excited, I can't wait. Okay, so after all that intense stuff, after judgment, like shaking things up, we get the Two of Swords. Okay, so this card is like someone standing there, right? Blindfolded, holding two swords. And it's all about being at a crossroads, a difficult decision, a place of stalemate. It's like, you need to make a choice, but you're just not sure which way to go, so you freeze, You get stuck. It's like you're weighing your options, but you're not really seeing clearly, cause of the blindfold. But remember, we're working with the Aventurine moon, so this isn't about freaking out, it's about flowing with it, right? It's about trusting your intuition, even when you can't see the whole picture. It's about knowing that even in this moment of uncertainty, you're still being guided, you're still on the right path, even if you don't totally know the way forward yet. So, how does this connect to judgment? Because that was a big card, right? All about wake-up calls and transformation, and answering your inner calling. Well, maybe the Two of Swords is showing up because you've heard the call, you know what you need to do, but you're still hesitating. You're still stuck in that decision-making process. You are overthinking it. It's like judgment gave you that clarity, that moment of truth, but now you're like, okay, but how do I actually do this? The Two of Swords is that moment of being overwhelmed by the options. It's like you know you need to make a decision, but you're so afraid of making the wrong one that you just freeze up. But see, the swords are about your mind. The blindfold represents what you can't see, right? So it may seem like all the information you need is not there, or that you don't have a full view of the situation. But you have the power to trust your own wisdom. Okay, let's connect this to the world, that feeling of completion. Maybe you thought you were done with a certain cycle, right? You thought you had reached the end of the road, but now the Two of Swords is showing up, and it's like, wait a minute, there's still something unresolved here. Maybe there's a decision you need to make before you can truly move on, before you can truly embrace that sense of completion. It's like a final test, a final hurdle to overcome before you can cross the finish line. Or how about the star, that hope and healing? The Two of Swords could be saying that you're still blocking yourself from fully receiving that healing, that hope. Maybe you're holding onto some old beliefs or some old patterns that are preventing you from moving forward. It's like you're so used to being in pain, so used to struggling, that you don't even know how to accept the good things that are coming your way. The Two of Swords is a call to release those blocks, to open yourself up to the possibility of healing and happiness. And what about the Ten of Cups? That ultimate emotional fulfillment. The Two of Swords might be showing up because you're afraid of losing that happiness. You're afraid of making a decision that will jeopardize those relationships. It's like you're so comfortable in your little bubble of happiness that you don't want to rock the boat. But the Two of Swords is saying that sometimes you have to make difficult choices in order to protect your own well-being, in order to create a life that is truly fulfilling for you. It's okay to prioritize yourself, even if it means upsetting others. Okay, what about justice? Remember that card about fairness and balance. Maybe the Two of Swords is showing up because you're struggling to make a decision that feels fair to everyone involved. You're trying to weigh all the options, to consider everyone's feelings, but it's just leaving you feeling paralyzed. The Two of Swords is a reminder that you can't always please everyone. Sometimes you have to make a decision that is right for you, even if it's not popular. It's about trusting your own sense of justice and doing what you believe is the right thing to do, even if it's hard. And then there's the Three of Wands, that card about planning for the future. The Two of Swords might be showing up because you're feeling overwhelmed by all the possibilities. You have so many options, so many different paths you could take, and you're just not sure which one is the right one. The Two of Swords is a call to slow down, to take a breath, and to really tune into your intuition. What feels right in your gut? What path is calling to you the most? It's not about making the perfect decision, it's about making a decision that feels authentic to you. Finally, we have the moon. All the hidden things, right? Well, maybe that's the problem right now. Maybe the Two of Swords is saying you need to seek out more knowledge, dig into the shadows more to find all the answers. Take off the blindfold and make your own choices. So, what does this all mean? What's the overall message here? Well, with the Aventurine moon crystal, we know that the key is to trust your intuition, to flow with your emotions, and to let your heart guide you. The Two of Swords is a reminder that even when you're feeling stuck, even when you're feeling uncertain, you still have that inner guidance within you. You just need to tune into it. So, how do you do that? How do you find that inner guidance when you're feeling so lost and confused? Well, one thing you can do is to create some space for yourself, some quiet time where you can just be with your thoughts and feelings. Turn off the distractions, put away your phone, and just sit in silence for a few minutes. See what comes up. What are you really feeling? What are you really wanting? Another thing you can do is to talk to someone you trust, someone who can offer you a different perspective, someone who can help you see things more clearly. Sometimes it just helps to bounce your ideas off of someone else, to get their feedback and support. And finally, remember that it's okay to not have all the answers right now. It's okay to take your time, to weigh your options, and to make a decision that feels right for you. Don't let anyone pressure you into making a choice before you're ready. Trust your own timing, trust your own process, and know that you will eventually find your way forward. There are a few different scenarios I can see playing out here, and I want to explore them each with you. The first one is that you're at a crossroads in a relationship. Maybe you're not sure if you should stay or go, if you should try to work things out or move on. If that's the case, the Two of Swords is urging you to take some time to really reflect on what you want and need in a relationship. Are your needs being met? Are you being treated with respect and love? Are you truly happy? Don't be afraid to have those tough conversations, to clear the air, and to make a decision that is right for you, even if it's hard. Another scenario is that you're at a crossroads in your career. Maybe you're not sure if you should stay in your current job or look for something new, if you should pursue your passion or stick with something that's safe and stable. If that's the case, the Two of Swords is urging you to take some time to really assess your values and your goals. What's most important to you in a career? Are you looking for financial security? Are you looking for creative fulfillment? Are you looking to make a difference in the world? Don't be afraid to take a risk, to step outside of your comfort zone, and to pursue a career that is truly aligned with your heart. And a final scenario is that you're at a crossroads in your personal life. Maybe you're not sure if you should move to a new city, start a new hobby, or change your lifestyle in some way. If that's the case, the Two of Swords is urging you to take some time to really connect with your inner self. What makes you happy? What brings you joy? What are you passionate about? Don't be afraid to experiment, to try new things, and to create a life that is truly authentic to you. No matter what scenario resonates with you, the Two of Swords is a reminder that you have the power to make the right choices for yourself. You have the inner wisdom, the strength, and the courage to create a future that is aligned with your highest good. Trust yourself, trust your intuition, and know that you are always being guided and supported, even when you can't see the path clearly. So breathe, trust, and let the whispers of your heart lead the way. This is not the end, this is a new beginning. I'm so excited for you.